This year cannot end like all the previous years. Let's be real. You probably spent months, maybe even years, scrolling through endless faceless channel ideas, questioning whether those AI gurus are actually telling you the truth about these viral faceless channels that are literally printing money. But you end up with even more questions than you started with. Are these faceless channels actually monetizable? Will it all just be a waste of time? And honestly, where do you even start? By the end of it, you've probably convinced yourself to wait for the next big viral niche to come along, and then the next one and the next, without ever taking that crucial first step. And even if you do, you give up halfway because you're not seeing the success you imagined. But the truth is that every one of these popular content creators had to overcome that fear at the beginning of their YouTube journey. Trust me, most of them didn't have the necessary script writing, SEO, video editing, or even thumbnail design skills that seems to deter us from starting our channels. So to make it easier, I've put together this guide to help you on your journey. Keep in mind that the niches I'll be revealing in this video are still monetizable even in 2025, so you have no reason not to get started. Just go through this video and pick one that resonates with you. Follow the tutorial and you'll have everything you need to successfully create every single one of these videos. Guys, I want my DMs to be full of testimonies, so I really hope someone takes the initiative to start one of these channels. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit these awesome buttons and maybe say something nice in the comment section if you find this video helpful. So here's a recap of what we'll be covering. First, we'll take a look at how you can create some badass AI animation videos. Then we'll move to creating animal rescue videos using free AI tools. Next, I'll show you how you can create some viral story videos that are pulling in more than $10,000 monthly, and move on to creating those movie trailer videos that are taking over YouTube these days. Then I'll take you through how you can create copyright-free lo-fi music videos before we move on to creating movie explainer videos, as well as police body cam videos. Right after that, I'll take you through everything you need to know in order to create both short and long-form historical documentaries, and then proceed with creating videos in this evergreen explainer niche. Next, we'll also go through the entire process of creating these Dinzo animation-style videos, create some easy stick animations, and what-if-style videos. Oh, and before I forget, a number of viewers have complained about keeping multiple characters consistent throughout their videos, so I'll be including a bonus course on it. Then finally, we'll conclude with 2 full courses on CapCut video and Premiere Pro video editing. You can find every prompt I'll be mentioning in this video inside their respective Google Docs on my Discord server. The link will be in the description and on my channel page. Guys, I really hope one of these niches motivates you to start your faceless channel today. But if you don't find the niche you're interested in, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll try my best to add it to the roadmap for future videos. Now let's get started. Okay, so I created this short video using AI.
A long time ago in Egypt, there was a baby named Moses. He was born at a time when things were hard for his people.
All baby boys from the Israelites must be taken away.
Where's the baby? Bring him out right now. I want him now.
I won't let that happen to my baby. I have a brave plan. I'll place Moses among the reeds along the Nile River and see what happens.
What a cute baby. I will take him home.
This entire video was created with AI tools, and the best part is that videos like this are great for storytelling. Take a look at this channel that uses AI to create Bible stories, raking in hundreds of thousands of views per video. But it doesn't stop there. This approach works wonders for any kind of story imaginable. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can tell engaging stories like these using AI tools. But before we get into that, thank you for 1,000 plus subscribers. Your support has been incredible. Now let's continue with the video. First things first, let's create a script for our video. For this demonstration, I'm going to use this video as a template. So let's quickly extract the transcript using the YouTube summary with ChatGPT and Claude Google Chrome extension. As you can see, the extension has given me a full transcript of the video, so I'll go ahead and copy it. To generate our script, I'll ask ChatGPT to create a story of Moses using the transcript. Next, we'll break down our story into different character lines to make narrating easier. We'll also include prompts to generate close-up images for each scene. With our prompts ready, it's time to bring our characters to life. Consistency is key, so let's begin by creating detailed descriptions of our characters. Let's kick things off with the pharaoh. Now I'll have ChatGPT generate a description for an ancient pharaoh and create a prompt based on that description. Remember, free users can't generate images with ChatGPT, so I'll demonstrate this separately. For Plus users, we'll search for the Consistent Character GPT and click this button. Now we will follow the prompt add a name for our character, and also paste the description we copied. As you can see, we've generated an initial image of our pharaoh, so we can go ahead and include some actions and background details. Our new pharaoh appears more muscular than the first attempt, so let's try again. This new image looks similar to the previous one, so let's try one more. Looks like the original image was the only slightly odd one, but the others maintain their consistency. To save time, I will skip the other characters and scenes. For free users, I'm going to show you a simple trick to get consistent characters from DALL-E. Let's start by creating a consistent character for Moses' mother. First, we need to craft a detailed description of her. We'll follow a similar process as we did for the pharaoh earlier. Since GPT-4o is available for free, let's proceed with selecting the same reliable character, GPT, we used earlier. The first thing we're going to do here is to paste this command. I will include it in the video description. It's a simple instruction that also prevents the GPT from attempting to create an image which isn't possible on the free plan. We can follow a similar process as before and paste our character description. As you can see, the GPT has generated a prompt for us to use. Now let's open Microsoft Copilot and paste our new prompt into the designer. Our initial character has been generated. Next, let's refine her with an action using prompts from GPT. As you can see, our updated character closely resembles the original. We'll continue this process to ensure consistency across all scenes featuring our character. As you can see, Copilot has generated images in a square aspect ratio. To fit our needs, we'll switch over to Adobe Firefly. Using the generative fill feature, we'll upload our image and then expand it to widescreen dimensions. Firefly adds a logo at the bottom, so we'll leave room for that before we generate our image. Our image looks good, so let's download one and import it into Adobe Image Resizer. Let's select YouTube dimensions and drag our image, making sure that the Firefly logo is no longer visible. Now we can go ahead and download our image. The next step is to generate our voiceovers. We'll start by copying the character lines we prepared earlier and paste them into 11 Labs. Our first narration is that of our narrator, so let's choose a voice from the library. To find the right voice for your narration, check out my full video where I go over the 2,000 plus voices in the library to select my favorites. Let's select a character and generate our voiceover. All that is left is to repeat this process for our other characters. Now that our voiceovers are set, we can go ahead and animate our images. Depending on how you want your video to look, I can recommend two main tools. The first one is Luma Dream Machine, and the second is Immersity AI. This AI tool can enhance your images with depth, creating a 3D video effect like this example. While it doesn't animate characters directly and free users may have watermarks on their videos, it can still produce impressive results, like this zoom effect. The primary tool we're going to be focusing on is Luma Dream Machine. It's a freemium application that gives users 30 free generations each month. But this AI produces some of the best results I've seen on the market. Take a look at this video it generated. It's almost lifelike despite a few minor glitches in the hand. And this was only my second attempt. Just imagine the potential with a bit more refinement. Let's go ahead and upload this image of a guard barging into someone's home. Quick tip. For better results, you should always include a version of the prompt that you use to generate the image, in addition to the actions that you want the character to be performing. The generation can also be very slow sometimes as the tool is in high demand at the moment. However, I've found that traffic tends to be lower around midnight Eastern Time, making it an ideal window for quicker processing. But if you have the budget, I can absolutely say it's worth every penny. Our video doesn't look bad, so we can proceed to the next step. But before that, if any of the videos look like this clip of our narrator, we can drop it into CapCut and trim the unwanted section. Then, we'll duplicate the clip and apply a reverse effect to seamlessly extend its duration without disrupting the flow. The next step is to create the lip sync for our videos. For paid tools, I recommend a lip sync tool called Sync Labs. Let's create a project and upload our audio and video files. We can select our preferred model and then generate our lip synced video.
A long time ago in Egypt, there was a baby named Moses.
Our character's lips are moving quite well, but it's a pain to get rid of the huge watermark. So let's use another tool for our lip sync. The tool we'll be using is Pika. So let's head over to their website and upload our video. We will select the lip sync option and upload our audio file to start generating the lip synced video.
There was a baby named Moses.
Although there's a Pika logo at the bottom, we can address that with blurring in post-production. It's time to start our final editing in CapCut. Let's drag our video clips and audio into our timeline and arrange them according to the flow of our story. We will also add some transitions and sound effects to make the overall video engaging. Next, we can generate the caption and add some animations and effects, or simply save time with one of these cool templates. The Pika watermark is still showing on this clip, so let's duplicate it, add a blur effect to the top layer, and finally add a mask to it. This doesn't get rid of the watermark, but it can blur the region. For background music, let's grab one from YouTube's audio library to avoid any copyright issues. We'll add it to our timeline and decrease the volume. The video looks good, so we can go ahead and export it in 720p. The last step is to increase the resolution of our video. For that, we'll go to TensorPix and add our exported video. Next, let's select 400% Ultra and enhance our video. Our 4K resolution video is now ready for download. You can achieve even better results than this if you spend a little more time refining your stories and visuals. And as you can see, this doesn't only apply to paid users. That said, free users will need a lot of patience with Luma Dream Machine, as generations can sometimes take far longer than you can imagine. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing, sharing, and liking. Your thoughts matter too, so feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you, and see you in the next one. These YouTube channels are pulling in some of the craziest numbers I've ever seen. And when I say numbers, I'm not only referring to their view counts. Just take a look for yourself. The first one was started this past September, but has already pulled in almost 100 million views with over 250,000 subscribers. That's not all. The second channel on this list, which was also started in September, has also raked in over 250,000 views with close to 500,000 subscriber count. What's even more insane is this third channel, which started just this past November, that has also pulled in over 150,000 views with this jaw-dropping subscriber count. So assuming an RPM of 5 cents per thousand views for this channel, they could be raking in close to $4,000 a month on their shorts alone. That's from a channel that literally posted its first video less than 2 months ago. If you're wondering how these channels are pulling in such outstanding numbers, well, the answer is quite simple. They're posting animal rescue videos like these using AI. And the best part is that people absolutely love these kinds of videos. I'm not even joking, just take a look at one of their videos and you'll understand what I mean. It's almost impossible to skip the moment you see any of these injured animals. And the result is that these channels end up with millions of views on their videos. Now, the best part about this is that the niche isn't saturated at the moment, so there's no better time to jump in. Oh, and if you aren't interested in shorts, this niche works for long-form content as well. Additionally, you can also post these videos on other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Guys, if this doesn't motivate you to start your YouTube channel today, then I'm not sure what will. You don't need to show your face, use any voiceover, or even go through the trouble of finding real-life footage of these animals. The best part is that you can do this with almost entirely free AI tools, and I'll be showing exactly how. I only ask that you stick with me to the end, and maybe hit these awesome buttons and even say something nice in the comment section if you find this video helpful. So here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to carry you through the complete process of creating a well-optimized channel for this niche. Then we'll move on to how you can generate the story ideas for the videos. Next, we'll generate prompts for the images we'll be using for the videos, and proceed with generating the images. Once that's done, we'll use an image-to-video generator to animate the images and move on to compiling the video with CapCut. Finally, I'll show you the best way to grab the tags and the description for the video. Guys, this is going to be detailed, so I'll be leaving every prompt and all the resource files from this tutorial in a Google Doc inside my Discord server. The link will be in the description and on my channel page, so let's get started. The first thing you need is to create your channel. If you've ever created a channel before, you probably already know how to do this, so feel free to use the timestamp to skip to the next chapter. However, if you haven't created a channel before, do this. Head over to YouTube and click on your profile picture, then you want to select Switch Account and view all channels. Click Create New Channel, and you'll be able to pick a username. If you have one in mind, go with that. If you don't, simply head over to ChatGPT. Type this command prompting ChatGPT to create a few channel names, taking inspiration from the 3 channels that are featured in this video. ChatGPT will spit out some creative ideas for you to choose from. And hey, if you're not feeling the first set of names, just regenerate them until you find the perfect fit. Once you've got your channel name locked in, paste it into YouTube and create your channel. Next, you need to create a description. Feel free to write that yourself, but ChatGPT can be useful here too. Ask it to create a fitting description for a channel in the animal rescue niche. Something engaging, but not too long. Because let's face it, no one's sticking around to read an essay on your channel page. Now that your channel is set up, the next step is to add tags to improve your channel's SEO. That stands for search engine optimization. This is what helps your channel show up when people search for certain keywords. Go ahead and add tags like animal rescue and any other phrases that fit your niche or the theme of your new channel. Just a quick tip: avoid using keywords that have nothing to do with your channel. Not only is that unhelpful, but it could also hurt your SEO. While you're at it, make sure to specify the category your niche falls under. This style of video falls under pets and animals niche, so choose that. Next up, you'll need a logo and banner for your channel. Don't overthink this. Something simple will work just fine. You can ask ChatGPT to create a prompt for generating a logo for your channel. If you're on ChatGPT's Plus plan, you can even generate the logo directly. But I prefer using ideogram for my logos. Just paste in the prompt, set the aspect ratio to square, and hit generate. It only takes a minute or two for the logo to be generated, and check out the results. Any one of these would be great, but I'll go with this one. The last step here is to create a simple banner. So simply grab a prompt for something simple from ChatGPT and head over to ideogram. Now paste the prompt and set the aspect ratio to landscape since we're generating a banner. Go ahead and hit generate. And ideogram will create some badass images that can be used for the banner. Download one and head over to your preferred image editor. Photoshop works perfectly, but if you don't have it, Canva or Photopea works just fine. Now create a new project using this aspect ratio and upload the banner image. Make sure you scale it to fit the project dimensions by simply dragging the corners. Next, select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle in the center. Finally, grab the text tool and add the channel name. Feel free to make any changes, but once everything looks good, export the banner as a JPEG file and upload it to your channel. Just like that, your channel branding and SEO are complete. Time to move on to the fun part, creating content. The first thing you're going to do is to come up with an idea for the video. I'm going to show you how you can use AI to do this, but nothing beats the human touch. So try coming up with some interesting scenarios yourself. But if you prefer using AI, ChatGPT can get the job done for you. To make things simpler, I've even created a few prompts that you can use to generate some pretty cool ideas. You'll find everything on my Discord server. Once you've opened the file, simply copy this entire prompt and head back to ChatGPT. Paste the prompt and hit generate. ChatGPT will create some pretty cool ideas and even structure them perfectly. Feel free to look through them and choose your preferred ones. If you don't like any of these ideas, simply regenerate as many times as necessary. But once you've decided on a topic, the next step would be to create the prompts you'll be using to generate the images. You can do this manually as well, but ChatGPT can make the job a little easier. Simply head over to the Google Doc and copy this second prompt. Now paste it into ChatGPT and replace this part with the details of the idea you want to use. You can even replace it with your own idea, and then hit enter to generate the image prompts. As you can see, ChatGPT has generated 16 prompts that can be used to generate images for each stage of the story. The prompts look good, but you may need to make a few changes to better reflect what you have in mind for your story. Next step is to generate your images. Feel free to use ChatGPT or Midjourney if you're on any of their paid plans. But if you want a free option, PicLumen is a great alternative. Head over to their website and hit this launch button. Their interface is quite similar to most image generators. Simply post your prompt here and expand the advanced settings. PicLumen provides some amazing models that you can choose from, including Flux One. Feel free to test out all of these models, but for this style of video, the PicLumen Art version 1 works perfectly. Next, you can choose your aspect ratio, depending on the style of video you want to create. For YouTube Shorts, 9:16 works perfectly for portrait-style videos. But for this demonstration, I'll go ahead and choose 16:9 since I'm creating a landscape-style video. Choose the number of images you want per generation, and then proceed with the image creation. This image generation tool is lightning fast compared to most others out there. In just a few seconds, you get a fully created image, and the quality is incredible. Seriously, take a good look at these images. They're so realistic, they could easily pass for the real thing. Plus, you can tweak the prompt and regenerate as many times as you need until it's just right. The best part is how you can effortlessly maintain consistency across different scenes, which is a total game changer. I'm going to show you how, using this next prompt where a dog is interacting with the horse. Go ahead and paste the second image prompt here. To maintain the scene for the second image, you need to paste the seed number from the original image. You can easily find it by selecting that image. The seed number is right here, so copy it and close this pop-up. Now you simply need to paste it and hit generate. It only takes a few seconds and the images are ready. Check out these images. PicLumen has done a great job maintaining consistency in both the environment and the character. You'll need to repeat this process for the rest of your prompts. Keep in mind that the AI isn't perfect, so you may need to make changes to some of the prompts to ensure that you get the results you're looking for. Now that the images are ready, The next step is to animate them. Feel free to use any image to video generator, but for this demonstration, I'll be using Minimax. Video generation will take a while for free users, so I recommend using it alongside other generators like these ones that also provide free credits. So go to Minimax and choose their image to video generation feature. Upload your image and paste the prompt you use to generate the image. You can find that from the image generated from PicLumen. Just hit this button to copy the full prompt. Now head back to Minimax and paste the prompt before you proceed with the generation. Free users can run 3 concurrent generations at a time, so upload your other images and don't forget to include the prompts. Once your clips are ready, the next step is to move on to editing. These videos are pretty simple, so you can use any video editor, but CapCut is free, so let's go with that. The first thing you need to do is to import the video clips into CapCut. Now go ahead and add the first clip to the timeline. Keep in mind that the AI video generators aren't perfect, so even with a decent clip like this one, you'll find a few flaws. Simply trim that part and check out the result. The clip looks almost realistic now, so go ahead and bring in your second clip as well. Make sure there are no issues with that clip and then bring in the others. Trim where necessary and continue arranging until you reach the end of the video. The length of this style of video depends on your personal preference, so make it as long or as short as you want. Next, you need to add some transitions to the video. Head over to Transitions and grab your favorite. I recommend something simple for this style of video. Mix works perfectly, so drag it between your clips. Feel free to add other transitions, but you can simply select this one and apply it to the rest of your clips. What makes these videos intriguing is the sound effects. So head over to Pixabay and search for sounds that fit various scenes in your video. The background sound is also very important, so let's tackle that first. Instead of some random background music for this very video, a soft wind-blowing sound will be appropriate. I'll also find some sounds for the horse, the dog, and even the footsteps of the rescue team. Once everything is ready, simply import them into CapCut. Now go through the video and identify the right places to add each sound effect as well as the appropriate duration. I'll even duplicate the dog sound a few times here and split this walking sound to match up with the footage. Keep adding any necessary sound effects till you're satisfied with the audio. Oh, and don't forget to add the blowing wind sound effect in the background. You don't want the wind to be too loud, so decrease the volume a bit and trim it at the end. Now, as you can see, Minimax has added their logo at the bottom right corner of the video. Paid users won't face this issue, but if you're on the free plan, you can simply cover it up with your own watermark. Select text and add a new layer. Now expand the layer to cover the full length of your video. Next, you can change the text to your brand name. In this case, I'll be using the channel name. You can even change the font to your personal preference and add a background. Use the sliders here to change the size of the background. And once you're happy with the result, you simply need to drag the text over the watermark and resize it, so it doesn't take too much space while also covering the watermark perfectly. The final step before you export the video is to add a filter. Feel free to choose your favorite, but this clear filter looks alright to me. So I'll go ahead and expand it to cover the rest of the video. Now you simply need to export the video at 1080p or 2K resolution. Before we take a look at the final result, let me show you how you can get a good description for the video. Simply head over to ChatGPT and paste this prompt. Make sure you include the detailed story that you generated earlier. As you can see, ChatGPT has created a solid description for the video. The last step here is to ask ChatGPT to generate tags for the video. Now, if this niche didn't convince you to start your YouTube journey today, check out this 2-month-old channel that's already making more than $10,000 monthly. These 2 YouTube channels are absolutely blowing up right now, and they're doing it in record time. The first one was started just this June, but already boasts over 7 million views. Same applies to the second channel with over 2.5 million views in just 2 months. What's even more interesting is the fact that these numbers were all generated from long-form content. Just take a look at these videos. I'm not only referring to the jaw-dropping view counts, but the length of the videos as well. Each of their videos is incredibly long, which means it would have been easier for them to get monetized off of their first viral video. You might be thinking this is all good, but how much can these channels realistically earn, and are they even monetized? If so, how exactly are they creating these long and intriguing stories that the algorithm seems to be head over heels in love with? Well, hold on for just a moment, because I'm going to answer all of that and more. Before we get into the details, though, let's take a quick peek at one of their videos.
St. Mary's General Hospital, a beacon of medical excellence in an affluent suburban community, was about to face an unexpected challenge. When Angela Parker, a talented black nurse, joined their staff, she had no idea of the deep-seated prejudices she would encounter.
Here's where it gets even more exciting. Both channels have some sneaky smart strategies they're using to hook viewers and keep them coming back for more. But if you implement the strategies I'm about to share with you in this video, you could have your own money printing machine just like these guys in literally a few months. To clear up any doubts about monetization, check this out. A quick glance at Social Blade reveals that the first channel is raking in up to $4,000 per month, while the second could be pulling in as much as $10,000 monthly. Insane, right? And keep in mind, this is from a channel that literally uploaded its first video just 2 months ago. That's more than most people earn working for a whole month. But don't worry, I am going to dissect their entire process and present you with the full blueprint that you can use to copy their strategy and start your own YouTube automation today. You don't need any prior experience with YouTube or even AI. I'll show you everything from how they create their stories to editing the video. Keep in mind that YouTube isn't just going to hand you the views if you don't put in the work or implement the right strategies. However, if you have the patience to stick with me to the end, you'll have a working strategy that you can implement and start pulling in views just like these guys. The first thing you need is to create your channel. If you've ever created a channel before, you probably already know how to do this. So feel free to use the timestamp to skip to the next chapter. However, if you haven't created a channel before, do this. Head over to YouTube and click on your profile picture, then you want to select Switch Account and view all channels. Click Create New Channel and you'll be able to pick a username. If you have one in mind, go with that. But if you don't, simply head over to ChatGPT, type this command prompting it to create a few channel names taking inspiration from the 2 channels that are featured in this video. ChatGPT will spit out some creative ideas for you to choose from. And hey, if you're not feeling the first set of names, just regenerate them until you find the perfect fit. Once you've got your channel name locked in, paste it into YouTube and create your channel. Next, you need to create a description for your channel. Feel free to write that yourself, but ChatGPT can be useful here too. Ask it to create a fitting description for a channel in the storytelling niche. Something engaging, but not too long. Because let's face it, no one's sticking around to read an essay on your channel page. Now that your channel is set up, the next step is to add keywords to improve your channel's SEO. That stands for search engine optimization. This is what helps your channel show up when people search for certain keywords. Go ahead and add words like storytelling and any other phrases that fit your niche or the theme of your new channel. Just a quick tip. Avoid using keywords that have nothing to do with your channel. Not only is that unhelpful, but it could also hurt your SEO. While you're at it, make sure to specify the category your niche falls under. Depending on the kind of stories you want to tell, you might pick something different. But for this style of video, entertainment or education should fit perfectly. Next up, you'll need a logo and banner for your channel. Don't overthink this. Something simple will work just fine. You can ask ChatGPT to create a prompt for generating a logo for your channel. If you're on ChatGPT's Plus plan, you can even generate the logo directly. But I prefer using Ideogram for my logos. All you have to do is paste in the prompt, choose a square aspect ratio, and hit Generate. It usually takes a few minutes for the logo to appear. Once it's ready, take a look at the results. Any one of these options would be great, but I'll go with this one and upload it to the channel page. The last step here is to create a simple banner. You can use AI to create one, but I'll go with something simple. Maybe a colored background with some text or even the logo. Head over to Canva or Photopea. Then create a new project using this aspect ratio and draw a simple rectangle in your brand color. Now grab the text tool, type in your channel name, and you're done. All that's left is to export the banner as a JPEG file and upload it to your channel. Just like that, your channel branding and SEO are complete. Time to move on to the fun part, creating content. This is where these channels are able to stand out from the competition. But unlike the majority of storytelling channels, these two use a technique called in medias res. If you don't know what that is, neither did I until a few days ago. But no worries, I'm here to break it down for you. It's a popular storytelling technique used in many hit movies and even by some of your favorite content creators. Let me illustrate. Normally, stories start from the beginning, then move to the middle, and finally, the ending. But stories that use this technique jump right into the thick of things, starting at a point where there's already a lot of tension or action. Then, they backtrack with a flashback to the beginning of the story. This leaves viewers with so many questions that can only be answered by watching the full story. Let me show you an example of this technique in action. I'm sure we've all seen the movie Ratatouille. Just pay attention to the first few seconds and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The movie starts with this curious scene, a mouse carrying a book. It immediately grabs your attention, but then, just as quickly, it cuts to the beginning of the story, like a flashback. What's interesting is that movies aren't the only places you can see this technique in action. Tons of content creators use it too. One of the most popular examples is Ray William Johnson. His crime stories almost always start this way, dropping you right into the action or a pivotal moment, then rewinding to explain how it all unfolded. So yeah, it's nothing new. It's just that most of us had no idea this was an actual storytelling technique, or how powerful it can be when used in our own stories. But enough with the theory. Let's dive into how you can create your own stories using this technique. The first step is to come up with a story. If you're the creative type who can whip up an amazing plot from scratch, go for it. But if you're anything like me and need a little help brainstorming an interesting topic, you can always turn to ChatGPT. Now paste this command prompting ChatGPT to generate some intriguing story ideas. You can specify the theme of the story, like kindness, justice, or even some good old poetic justice. To guide ChatGPT even further, include a few sample titles to show the style you're going for. To make this easy, I'll be making all of these prompts available in a Google Doc on my Discord server. You'll find the link in the description below and on my channel page. As you can see, ChatGPT has generated a variety of interesting topics for your videos. Any one of these would make a great story, but for this demonstration, I'll go ahead and choose the third one. To create a script for this story using the in medias res technique, all you need to do is paste this prompt. Replace the placeholder number with the number of your chosen topic, or even the exact title. Then hit enter and let ChatGPT generate the story for you. Now, if you look closely, the introduction follows the command we gave to the AI perfectly, but you might notice something. The overall word count for the story is less than 700 words. Don't worry though, I'll show you how to fix that. The introduction looks solid, so we'll keep it as is. The rest of the story, starting from the backstory, will need some work. To expand it, paste this prompt asking ChatGPT to rewrite the rest of the story into 12 chapters. You can go with more or fewer chapters depending on your preference. ChatGPT has done as commanded, but as you can see, the chapters are generated with just a few sentences each. This is easy to fix. Simply add a command prompting it to rewrite each chapter to match your preferred word count. Do this for all the chapters, and soon you'll have a fully fleshed out story. With your story complete, the next step is to generate the voiceover. For that, head over to 11 Labs. Now to generate your voiceover, paste your prompt into 11 Labs. Make sure each batch is under 700 characters. Longer prompts can sometimes make the voice sound a bit off in certain places. Once your text is ready, head over to the voice library and select your preferred narrator. After that, choose the voice and you're all set to proceed with the voiceover generation. Next up, it's time to create images for your story. Now here's an interesting thing. One of the channels we're modeling uses just one image for their entire story, but the other channel takes a more dynamic approach. They start with more images in the beginning and later switch to floating characters with background videos. To create your images, you can ask ChatGPT to generate detailed prompts for the characters in your story. You can also copy sections like the introduction and paste them into ChatGPT requesting prompts for the visuals. Then use your favorite image generator to bring those prompts to life. If you're a ChatGPT Plus subscriber, you can go one step further. Paste each prompt individually, specify the image style and aspect ratio, and hit enter. Repeat this for all the images you'll need throughout your story. Before moving on to editing, consider generating images of each character on a white background. Depending on the style you want for your video, these might come in handy later. The final step is putting it all together in CapCut. Start by importing your images and voiceover files, then drop them onto the timeline. Add the first image and head over to Effects. Under Motion, apply this effect. It adds a subtle motion to the image, making it feel more dynamic. After that, duplicate the first clip and start bringing in your other images. For something extra, you can try the 3D Zoom Pro effect, which adds a nice depth effect. Arrange the rest of your images to flow naturally with your story. If you want to add some extra flair, download a dust particle or old film overlay from this website. Drop the overlay into the timeline, change the blending mode to color dodge, and adjust the opacity until it feels just right. All that's left is to repeat this process as you go forward. But if you want to overlay your characters on top of a video, grab some clips from websites like Pixabay. Then use a background remover to create a transparent image of your character. Now import them into CapCut, add the video and drop the character on top of it. Decrease the opacity of the video and bring in the old film overlay here as well. Lastly, add the rebound swing effect and you're good to go. Repeat this for the rest of your story, and once you're done, export at 1080 or 2K resolution.
In a distant realm where dwarves and elves walk the land, and danger lurks at every turn, a small hobbit embarks on the adventure of a lifetime. Meet Frodo Baggins, an unlikely hero with a heart of gold, and a ring that's anything but. When his Uncle Bilbo hands down a shiny trinket, Frodo quickly discovers it's no ordinary piece of jewelry. It's the One Ring, crafted by the Dark Lord Sauron, a malevolent force with a plan to cloak the world in darkness. And it's up to Frodo to destroy it. But Frodo isn't facing this peril alone. Enter the Fellowship, a band of brave companions. There's Aragorn, a mysterious ranger with a hidden royal lineage. Legolas, the elf with flawless aim and even better hair. Gimli, the fierce dwarf proving that size isn't everything. Boromir, a noble warrior whose ambition may be his undoing. And of course, Frodo's trusty Shire friends, Samwise, Merry, and Pippin, always on the lookout for their next meal. And let's not forget Gandalf, the wise old wizard with plenty of magic up his sleeve. Together, they'll cross dangerous lands filled with orcs, goblins, and the occasional cave troll. Their mission, to destroy the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom, buried deep in enemy territory.
I'm sure you've seen these intriguing trailers making waves all over social media. Channels like these are taking brand new movies or classic TV shows and giving them a 1950s Super Panavision movie style with the help of AI. And what's really fascinating is that people can't seem to get enough of them. If you're not convinced, just check out this channel that's posted literally one video, and it's already on track for monetization. Then there's this other one blowing up with these jaw-dropping numbers, even on their newest videos. Now here's the best part. You can do this yourself, and it doesn't have to cost a dime. Yep, you don't need to empty your wallet to make these kinds of videos. In fact, I'll show you how to pull this off using both free and paid tools. We'll go step by step, starting with how to create a script for the trailer. Then we'll dive into 2 easy methods to generate some great image prompts for your story. Once we've got our prompts ready, there are 2 different ways we can create the videos. The first option is to generate images, either with free or paid tools, and animate them. The second option, just generate the video directly using simple prompts. After that, we'll move on to the voiceover and of course find the perfect background music to give your trailer that cinematic edge. I'll even show you how to edit the voiceover to give it that classic megaphone-style sound, and we'll finish by compiling everything in CapCut. So let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is create the script for our video. For this demo, we'll make a short trailer for Lord of the Rings. To do this, we'll head over to ChatGPT and ask for a voiceover narration in that iconic 1950s style. If you want to feature specific characters in the narration, you can include those details too. And just like that, our script is ready in seconds. Now it's time to create the prompts that'll help us generate our images. There are 2 ways you can go about this. The first method is super simple. Just ask GPT to give you 20 prompts and don't forget to specify the image style. I'll be leaving the full prompt down in the video description for you. This method works like a charm, but sometimes you want the images to be closer to the original scenes from the story. In that case, here's what you do. Go through your story and identify the specific scenes you need visuals for. Once you've done that, head over to Google, find the scene or character you're after, and download the image. Now, the fun part. Upload the image to ChatGPT and ask it to create a prompt based on that scene or character. In just a few seconds, you'll have a simple prompt that'll recreate something similar but in the style you're aiming for. We'll test this method first with Midjourney before moving on to other free tools. So go ahead and copy that final prompt. While Midjourney is my go-to for high-quality images in this style, you're free to use DALL-E or any other premium image generator that you like. Since I've already set up a private server on Midjourney, we'll head there. Start with /imagine and paste the prompt we just copied. Let's clean up the prompt a little by moving the image style to the beginning, and this looks good. So let's generate that image. Take a look at these results. Not bad, but we need our character to face the camera for that dramatic effect. So, back to ChatGPT, we go to make some tweaks to the prompt. Now that we have our updated version, we'll copy it, go back to Midjourney, and start another image generation. Paste the new prompt, adjust the same details as before, and hit enter. Check out these results. It's looking so much better, and the image style is spot on for what we're going for. Let's give it another shot, but this time with Gandalf. We'll quickly grab an image of him from Google, upload it to ChatGPT for a new prompt, and follow the same steps. Back to Midjourney, type the command, paste the prompt, tweak it, and let's see what we get. These images look good, but I think we can push them a little further. So, let's regenerate and see what we get. Now these are looking way better, and we can definitely use any of these for our story. We'll go with the bottom left image, so let's select U3 to enlarge that one. To save time, we won't go through all the images for every scene, but just know that the process is pretty similar for each one. Next, let's explore how to create these images using some free tools. We'll try out both Leonardo AI and Ideogram. First up, Leonardo AI. The first thing you'll want to do is choose your preferred preset. Then, we'll select the right aspect ratio and paste our prompt. Of course, you can make any adjustments to the prompt before hitting generate. Now, check out the results. Not bad at all, but you can always tweak the settings until you're happy with what you get. Now, let's move on to Ideogram and see what it gives us. The results here are also really solid. Again, feel free to play around with the prompt if you're looking for something specific or just want to fine-tune the results. With our images ready, it's time to bring them to life by animating them. You can use any image-to-video generator you like, but I recommend Luma Dream Machine or Runway ML. Personally, I prefer Runway ML because free users get some credits to generate videos, which is super convenient. So, let's dive into Runway ML. First, hit this button to start. Make sure your preferred model is selected, upload your image, and add the same prompt you used for generating the image. Let's go with 5 seconds for the video duration and start generating. Now, if you're using the free version, you might hit an error here and there, but with a couple more tries, it should get going. If you're planning to get into this niche seriously, I'd recommend investing in a paid video generator for ease and reliability. That said, there are still free options, and I'll show you one right after this step. It's currently free, but it'll likely move to a paid model soon. The clips we've made so far look great, so let's try it out with our second image. We'll upload the image, add the prompt, and wait for the final results. This one turned out well too. I'll skip over the rest of the scenes for now and move on to generating videos straight from text next. The tool we'll be using is called Minimax. It's a text-to-video generator that's been making waves lately. If you want to dive deeper into how it works, check out this video. Their website isn't in English, but no worries. Just use your browser's translate feature to navigate. Once you're there, simply hit this button to start and paste your prompt. You can tweak the prompt however you like, and when you're ready, hit create to start generating your video. From what I've seen, the video generation usually takes about 5 minutes or so. Alright, our video is ready. Check out the result, it looks super cool. The character's subtle movements, the smooth panning camera, everything looks spot on. I'll skip ahead and generate one for our second character now. This one is just as impressive, if not more so. The environment, the way the character moves, the outfit, it's all looking sharp. And the best part? I didn't even need to regenerate any scenes. Now that our clips are done, the next step is creating the voiceover. For this, we'll be using 11 Labs, but feel free to use any text-to-speech tool you prefer. The first thing we need to do is head back to ChatGPT and copy our narration. One tip, if you want the voiceover to sound smooth, paste the text in batches of under 700 characters. Personally, I like to keep it under 500 characters, but 700 works fine too. Once you've got your text ready, you can browse through the voices on 11 Labs or search their huge library of voice options. I've made a video listing my favorite English voices from their library, so feel free to check that out if you're curious. Now let's generate the voiceover. Before we move on to editing, we need some epic background music for the trailer. There are 3 easy ways to find copyright-free tracks. The first, and simplest, is to grab one from YouTube's audio library. The second way to get your background music is by using either a paid music library, like Epidemic Sound, or free platforms like Chosic or Pixabay. These platforms offer tons of copyright-free soundtracks that you can use without any legal worries. The third option is using AI music generators to create your own soundtrack. Just make sure to select instrumental, then include a description like epic orchestral music, and maybe even mention the movie title to guide the AI. Most of these tools have free tiers for users, but they often don't cover commercial use. So once your channel starts making money, I recommend paying for the tool to avoid any potential legal issues down the line. Now, before we jump into CapCut to pull everything together, we need to edit our voiceover. If you've watched similar videos, you'll notice the narration usually sounds like it's coming from an old radio or megaphone. I'll show you 2 ways to achieve that effect. First up is with Premiere Pro. Start by importing the voiceover files into a new project and dropping them into your timeline. Then, go to Effects, search for Parametric Equalizer, and drop it onto your first track. Next, head to Effect Controls. Click Edit for the effect, and choose the preset that gives you that old radio sound. After that, go back to Effects. Search for Single Band Compressor and apply it to the same track. Click Edit on that effect. select the appropriate preset, and then adjust the output gain to 16. Now, to save time, you can copy these effects and paste them onto any other voiceover tracks you have. Just make sure the parametric equalizer is applied before the single band compressor for each track. Once all your voiceovers are set, go to File and Export Media. Since we only want the audio, turn off the video track and select MP3. Hit Export and voila, your modified voiceover is good to go. If you don't have Premiere Pro, no worries. You can do this with Audacity, which is completely free to download. Simply drag the voiceover into the app and make sure it's selected. Then head to Effect, choose Filter Curve EQ from here and select the radio preset from the options. You can tweak the graph if needed, but once you're happy, export the file in MP3 format and you're all set. The final step is editing the video. First, import all your files into CapCut and drop the voiceover onto the timeline. AI-generated voices can sometimes have long pauses, so let's go ahead and cut those out, aligning the tracks so that the narration flows smoothly. Once that's done, you can start arranging the clips according to how the story unfolds. Crop the clips as needed and enlarge others for emphasis. To save time, I'll quickly breeze through this part. Now for some finishing touches, you might want to add one of these filters to see what works best for your video. We'll use this one, dragging it across the entire video to give it that vintage feel. One thing I like to add for extra flair is a grainy texture. So let's drop in a grain effect and change the blend mode to color dodge or screen for that cool retro vibe. This looks great, so let's go ahead and duplicate it a few times to cover the video. Here's an optional step, but I've noticed that a lot of these retro-style videos include a top and bottom border effect. It's super easy to do. Just grab a black background image, position it at the top of the video, then duplicate it and do the same for the bottom. I'll leave every one of these files and prompts in the resource channel of my Discord server. Link will be in the description and on my channel page. If you want to animate the border so that it appears gradually, here's how. Select the clip, add a horizontal mask, then set a keyframe. Move forward a second or two, and drag the mask to create the effect. Let's play it back. Yep, that looks awesome. You can repeat this process for the top border as well. The last step before you export the file is to add the background music. Decrease the volume and trim it. Finally, the video can be exported at 1080p resolution. If you end up with a watermark on your video, you can easily remove it. Just head over to 123 apps and select their watermark removal tool. Upload your video, and then simply draw a rectangle around the watermark. The tool isn't perfect, but it does a pretty decent job in most cases. Once you're happy with the results, all that's left is to export your video, and you're good to go. I'm sure you've seen these faceless channels that make relaxing music videos. You know, the ones your friends and everyone else keep saying can't be monetized. But here's the thing. This niche is probably one of the most misunderstood on all of YouTube. Seriously, take a look at this channel that's only about a year old and it's already killing it with these crazy numbers and yep, it's monetized. The same applies to this other channel that's only a few months old. Still, most people have this misconception about entering the niche. And honestly, I get why. A lot of those YouTube gurus out there are selling this niche like it's some sort of get-rich-quick scheme. But what happens? New creators dive in without a real strategy and end up getting demonetized just as fast as they started. That's why today, I'm going to show you how you can actually create your own monetizable music videos the right way. Plus, I'll give you some tips on what you need to avoid so your hard work doesn't go to waste with a sudden demonetization. I'll even share the monetization strategy that these successful channels are using to rake in even more cash. So stick with me until the end, and don't forget to hit those awesome buttons if you find this video helpful. As a little bonus for anyone who sticks around till the end, I'm going to share 2 super important tips that will help you grow in this niche. Now let's dive in. The first thing you absolutely need to keep in mind is to avoid using royalty-free music from websites like Pixabay or Envato Music. Using music that doesn't belong to you for this niche will get flagged as unoriginal content. Sure, you can use those tracks as background music for your voiceovers, but if you're just uploading them and expecting to get paid, YouTube is not having it. Another thing, everyone's using those same tracks, which breaches YouTube's policy on reused content. So, what's the best way around this? Simple. You create your own music. But this is where people tend to slip up again. They go on Fiverr, pay someone to make a soundtrack for them, and sometimes that music gets sold to a bunch of other clients, leading to the same reused content issue and demonetization. To avoid that hassle, we're going to use AI to create the soundtracks. There are a bunch of AI music generators out there, but 2 of the most popular ones are Udio and Suno AI. The best part? The music these tools generate is copyright-free and totally unique. While neither tool is completely free, you can still generate a good number of songs with just a free account. Before we generate our music, let's get creative with ChatGPT to help us come up with a simple song description. You can paste this command and let ChatGPT generate a prompt for us. Once that's ready, head over to Suno AI and hit this button. We'll paste our command here, but first, make sure to select the instrument option. Then, you can go ahead and paste your prompt. Feel free to tweak the command however you like. Once you're happy with it, hit Create, and Suno AI will take care of the rest. It will give you 2 tracks at a time, so take a listen and see if they're what you're looking for. If not, don't stress. Just modify the prompt and regenerate the tracks as many times as you need. You can even type in something like lo-fi in the description and check out the cool tracks that pop up. Keep regenerating until you find one that really clicks, then go ahead and hit the download button. Now that we've got our music, the next step is to create our relaxing scene. Feel free to get creative with this part, but for this demonstration, let's go with something simple, like a video of someone sleeping. There are 2 ways we can create the video for our relaxing scene. The first option is to generate an image and then animate it. The second is to create the video directly from a text prompt. We're going to need a prompt for our scene, so we can ask ChatGPT to give us some relaxing scene examples. It usually comes up with some great options, and we can pick one to generate the prompt for our scene. But I've already created my own prompt for this video, so we'll be using that. You can find the full prompt in the video description. If you're more into the first approach, feel free to use your preferred image generator. Paid users can go with Midjourney, but if you're looking for a free alternative, Leonardo AI works just fine. Just head to the image creation tool, choose this preset, and set the aspect ratio as needed. Next, you can go ahead and paste the prompt, and within a few seconds, you'll have your image. Check out the results. These images look great, and you can either pick one or generate another batch if you want more variations. Take a look at the different results. They all look pretty good, right? Once you're happy with the image, you can move on to any image-to-video generator. For image-to-video generators, I recommend Pika, Runway ML, Minimax, or Luma Dream Machine. These tools aren't free, but they offer some free credits, which should be enough for what we need here. Feel free to choose whichever one you like, but for this demo, we'll be testing the images with both Minimax and Luma Dream Machine. First, let's head over to Minimax and choose their video generation option. Upload the image we just created and paste the prompt into the prompt box. Free users don't get a ton of credits, but it's enough to generate a few videos. Let's check out the result. Minimax has done a pretty solid job animating our image. Next, we'll repeat the process with Luma Dream Machine. Upload the image, add the prompt, and make sure to check the loop feature. Don't forget to turn off the Enhance Prompt option before generating the video. While we're waiting for our video to be ready, let's go ahead and generate a video directly from our text prompt and see what results we get. Take a look at the final results. Both the image to video and text to video look pretty great, right? Now that everything is ready, let's hop over to CapCut and compile the final video. The first thing we'll do is import our files and add the music to the timeline. Unlike Luma Dream Machine, Minimax doesn't have a loop feature, so we'll be using a simple trick to make the clips seamless. See how there's a slight break when transitioning to the next clip? To smooth this out, just reverse the second clip so it looks like the animation is continuing naturally. Then, duplicate both clips to fill up the timeline. If you used Luma Dream Machine, you won't need to reverse any clips. Just duplicate the files and check out the result. The video flows seamlessly, so you can duplicate the files as many times as you need to fill up the timeline. For videos over an hour long, just duplicate the music track and align it to keep things smooth, or pull it down slightly and add a subtle fade at the end of the top track. This way, everything blends perfectly. Now, just repeat this process until you reach your desired length, and you're ready to export your music video in 1080p resolution. When it comes to monetizing these channels, AdSense is a solid option, but it doesn't have to be the only one. You can boost your income by promoting products that align with this niche, like sound machines or noise-canceling headphones. All you have to do is sign up as an affiliate on platforms like Amazon or ClickBank, or your preferred network, and start promoting these products in your video descriptions. If you want a more straightforward approach, consider connecting a store to your YouTube channel. This way, you can easily tag products in your videos, shorts, and even live streams, making it much easier for viewers to check out the products you're promoting. Now, as promised at the beginning of this video, here are the 2 important tips that will help you grow in this niche. First, refrain from placing too many ads in your videos once your channel is monetized. I know you have limited control over ads before monetization, but after you're approved, make it a point to cut down on the number of ads in your videos. The reason? People who visit these channels are looking for something relaxing, and bombarding them with ads every 15 minutes will only drive them away. This is why channels in this niche aren't raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars just from ads, despite the length of their videos. The successful ones hold back on cramming their videos with ads to avoid annoying their audience. So, keep this in mind. Second, I'm sure you've noticed that most successful channels in this niche run live streams 24/7, and sometimes even have multiple streams running at the same time. This is key to their growth. You'll definitely want to add this to your strategy. To automate these live streams, you can use a platform like Streaming Bots. I won't dive into the details of how to use the platform, but it's pretty straightforward and worth checking out. This niche is pretty cool, but if you're a beginner wanting to dive deeper into YouTube automation, then you should definitely check out this comprehensive video that covers everything you need to succeed with your faceless channel. I'm going to show you everything you need to succeed in this simple but very lucrative niche. If you didn't know already, movie explainer videos get some of the highest views all over social media. And channels like these are simply printing money in this evergreen niche. The best part is that these videos are quite easy to create. But most people who enter this niche end up making several mistakes, which leads to their channels getting flagged for copyright or even demonetized in some cases. So if that's the case, how can you succeed in this niche? What are these successful channels doing right? And how are they avoiding copyright strikes? The good news is that it's actually quite simple. These channels are just following a couple of basic steps, which I'm going to walk you through. But before we get started, I want you to take a look at this movie explainer video that I made that literally took me less than an hour to make.
Did you know that Deadpool has a photographic memory? In the movie Deadpool vs. Wolverine, Johnny Storm made the ultimate mistake. He trash-talked Cassandra Nova, completely unaware of Deadpool's uncanny ability to remember everything. Of course, Deadpool couldn't resist snitching on him, later leading to one of the most jaw-dropping moments in the entire movie.
Now, I'm sure you already know how to create a channel, so I'm not going to bore you with that part. But if you don't already know how, just take a look at this video, which includes both the channel creation process as well as the channel SEO. The very first step is finding an interesting video idea. Honestly, this is where a lot of people mess up. You can follow every step I'm about to show you, but if the idea doesn't grab viewers, they're not sticking around to the end. And when that happens, your engagement and overall views take a hit. Some creators prefer using movies that they like, but just because you enjoy a movie doesn't mean your audience feels the same way, so it's much easier to use videos that have high IMDb ratings. You can find these easily with a simple Google search. As you can see, these are very popular movies that are highly rated. This method works perfectly, but if you want to find movies from a specific date range like recent movies from 2020 to 2024, you need to go to this website and select the top 250 movies from the menu. This provides a whole list of popular movies that you can choose from. But this isn't enough to make these results any different from the ones on Google. The real sauce is right here. Select this icon, and you'll be presented with some pretty cool options to filter through the results. Let's check out popular movies from 2020 to 2024. Now you have a list of the most popular movies from those years. If you want an even easier way to go about your movie selection, ask ChatGPT to give you 20 or as many high IMDb movies as you want. You can even include the time frame here as well and see some of the results. ChatGPT will create a list of these movies including their IMDb ratings and thumbnails. So long as the video has a rating higher than 6, you're golden. Now once you've decided on the movie you want to use, the next step is to find the actual video. No need to download videos from Chinese apps like some gurus are suggesting. Instead, you can easily grab it from your favorite video streaming sites like Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's that simple. Once your video is ready, the next step is to create your script. Now, I know a lot of videos out there will tell you to use ChatGPT for this, but don't do that. ChatGPT is good at a lot of things but horrible at creating scripts, especially for this style of video. You'd honestly spend more time fixing all the mistakes in a ChatGPT script than just creating one from scratch. So I recommend that you write it yourself. It's pretty easy if you're someone who's genuinely interested in movies. Start with something about a highly rated movie you enjoyed. Let's use the Marvel Cinematic Universe as an example. Just pick any of their movies and you could possibly create 10 or even more explainer videos on them, especially if you're into short-form content. But you can't simply copy-paste their videos and hope to get away with it. You need to do a few things at this scriptwriting stage and later at the editing stage. To make things simpler, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to avoid your videos getting taken down for copyright violations. I'm sure you've heard of fair use policy, but for your videos to fall under fair use, they need to be visually transformative and also add value. I'll show you how to transform your video the right way that will increase your chances of success later. But first, let's take a look at how you can create a script that adds real value. Most people who enter this niche fail at this part, so I'm going to try my best to explain it in simple terms. Creating a movie explainer video doesn't mean you need to explain the entire movie. Instead, pick scenes or characters from the story that viewers would find intriguing and provide them with some additional information. Take, for example, the demo video I created. Instead of spoiling anything in the movie itself, I focused only on providing additional information about a specific scene in the movie. Same way, I could also pick another interesting scene or even characters and explain them using the clips from the movie. So in reality, you could create a whole bunch of videos from just this single movie without actually revealing any spoilers. Once your script is good to go, it's time to work on the voiceover. There are tons of text-to-speech generators out there, but if you want the best of the best, 11 Labs is a solid choice. You simply need to head over to their voice library and then choose your preferred voice character. Next, you can paste your script and proceed with the generation. Just a quick tip, keep each generation under 500 words to avoid any strange glitches or weird sounds. The final step is editing the video. You can use whatever editing software you're comfortable with, but honestly, CapCut is the best for this kind of video. I'll show you why in a bit. Start by importing your video clip and voiceover clips into CapCut. Once they're in, drop them onto the timeline like this. You won't need the original audio from the video, so go ahead and extract it, then delete it. Easy. Depending on the type of video you're making, you can pick the aspect ratio that works best for you. Since I'm creating this one for a YouTube short, 9:16 is perfect. AI voiceovers tend to have these awkwardly long breaks, so you'll need to trim those out while making sure the audio flows smoothly. Do the same for any other voiceover files you're working with. To save time, I'll speed through the rest of the cleanup. Now that the voiceover sounds good, it's time to focus on the video. This part is very important, so you need to pay close attention. To stay within the fair use policy, there are 3 key things you need to keep in mind while editing. First is to change the clip order. The second is to trim the length of longer clips and finally crop the video. Let me show you how to do this. You need to split the clips whenever the camera angle changes. This is where CapCut really shines and makes the whole process so much easier. Instead of manually going through the entire video to split it, CapCut has this amazing split scene feature that does the job for you in seconds. As you can see, it's done a great job breaking down each scene from the video. Now, all you need to do is go through the clips and pick the ones that best match your narration. For example, I'll grab this clip and drop it right here. Just remember to keep each clip around 3 to 4 seconds long, max. Instead of just picking the next clip in order, look for a more suitable one from another part of the video, like this one. Keep repeating this process for the rest of the audio, making sure each clip lines up perfectly with what's being said. I'll speed through the rest of this part, but once you're done and everything looks great, go ahead and delete any leftover clips. Now adjust each clip to match your preferred video style. You could go for a full screen look by enlarging the video to fill the frame, or create a cinematic vibe by leaving borders at the top and bottom. Some channels even leave just a top border to place their captions there. It really comes down to your personal preference and how you want your video to look. Repeat this for all your clips, making sure the characters stay in view when needed. Next, add some transitions to smooth things out. Just pick your favorite ones and drop them between the clips. If you want to keep it consistent, you can choose a single transition and apply it to the entire video. Don't forget captions, they're super important. Go to the text option and generate them for your video. CapCut offers plenty of caption templates to choose from, so feel free to play around and find one you like. If none of them work for you, you can also explore the animations available for captions. I think this template looks pretty good, so I'll go ahead and select it. You can also move the captions to the center if that's your style, but honestly, this placement works just fine for me. CapCut also has a ton of filters for your video. Just pick one you like and drop it onto your timeline. For this video, the clear filter works really well, so I'll stretch it to cover the entire duration. The final step is adding background music. You can grab a track from any premium music platform, or if you're looking for a free option, CapCut has a great collection of royalty-free tracks you can download. Another great free option is YouTube's audio library. Once you've got your background music ready, just add it to the timeline, lower the volume, and trim it to fit like this. When everything's set, you can now export your video in 1080p or even 2K resolution. You've probably seen tons of videos out there promising to teach you how to make money by posting police body cam videos. They showcase these viral channels pulling in jaw-dropping numbers in this niche. But here's the thing. None of them actually explain the real secret, how to easily get access to the body cam footage you need to make this work. That's why, in this video, I'm giving you the complete blueprint to create this style of video. And most importantly, I'll share 4 unique ways to access body cam footage, no matter where you are. Stick around until the end, because the last method is a total game changer. It'll get you access to thousands of body cam videos completely free. Let's dive in. Now, I could start by walking you through how to create a logo and banner for your channel, but let's be real. You're not here for that, are you? What you really want to know is how to get your hands on those body cam videos. But hear me out. Every step in this process is critical if you want to maximize your chances of getting monetized. Since you probably already know how to set up a new channel, I'll skip that part. Instead, let's jump into creating some killer branding for your channel. First, let's start with the logo. Head over to Gravity Right and create a free account. Once you're in, go to this drop-down and select Logo Design Ideas. Now, add your channel's name and a quick description. Hit that button to generate some ideas, and voila! You've got a solid starting point for your channel's look. As you can see, this tool generates 10 unique prompts for your logo. Go through them and pick the styles that match your channel vibe. Personally, I think a badge-style logo works great for this niche, so let's test out a few of those. You can use your favorite image generator, but I'm a fan of ideogram for these kinds of designs. Just paste in the prompt, set it to a square aspect ratio, and hit generate. Check out the images that come up. If something's a little off, don't sweat it. Just tweak the prompt and try again until you're happy with the result. Once your logo's ready, it's time to move on to the channel banner. You can keep it simple, like a police-themed design with your preferred colors. Paste your prompt, set the correct aspect ratio, and fine-tune it as needed. The goal is a clean, professional look that grabs attention. Now let's talk content. You need to choose a topic. Start by searching for recent police-related stories, but here's a pro tip. Avoid graphic or sensitive topics. Those can cause problems with YouTube's policies and might lead to demonetization. Once you've got your topic locked in, it's time to find the body cam footage. And that's where the magic happens. There are 4 ways to do this, so let's get into it. The first and most popular option is requesting footage under the Freedom of Information Act. This allows you to ask for body cam footage related to specific cases from the state's police department. Many states have online forms you can fill out, but in some cases, you might need to draft an email yourself. Don't worry if writing emails isn't your thing. You can use ChatGPT to help, or just grab a pre-made template from my Discord server. The link is in the video description and on my channel page. Keep in mind, some police departments might charge a small fee for processing these requests, and others may require you to be a resident of the state to access the footage. The second way is to visit the U.S. Customs and Border Protection official website. Once there, head to their Accountability and Transparency page and check out their section for body cam releases. You'll find various police incidents listed with dates, locations, and even accompanying statements. Now, while it's tempting to just grab these and upload them to your channel, I wouldn't recommend it. That can lead to issues with YouTube's reused content policy. Don't worry, I'll show you how to modify these clips later so you're in the clear. For now, let's move on to the third method. The third approach is digging into the resources provided by state attorney general offices. Many of these offices release video materials as part of their commitment to transparency. For example, if you visit the New York State Attorney General's website, you can find these materials by navigating to their About page. From there, head to the Criminal Justice Department and then to the Office of Special Investigation. On this page, you'll find videos related to specific cases, and you can download the ones you need. But here's the catch. Even though these videos are publicly released, there may still be restrictions on their usage. To play it safe, I recommend reaching out to the office and getting explicit permission before using their content. Now, the fourth method is a game changer. It gives you access to thousands of body cam clips. However, it's advisable to take precautions before using these clips. To access these body cam footages, check out this archive that hosts a massive collection of body cam clips from U.S. law enforcement, some dating all the way back to 1988. It's a treasure trove with thousands of videos available for you to browse and download. You can even preview them directly on the site before deciding which ones you want to use. Once you've chosen, just download the MP4 file from their repository. It's that simple. That said, there is one drawback. The videos come with a persistent watermark. But don't worry, this is an easy fix. Just overlay your own channel's watermark to cover it up. Another important thing to remember is to pick topics or videos that are publicly accessible to avoid any legal or copyright issues. And as I mentioned earlier, don't just download these files and re-upload them as is. That's a fast track to a reused content strike or, even worse, copyright problems. Now let's talk about creating your story. You can start by searching for the incident on Google and finding a reliable publication that's reported on it. Now copy the article, head over to ChatGPT, and give it this prompt followed by the copied text. ChatGPT will spit out a decent script for you, but I personally don't recommend using this method as ChatGPT tends to produce pretty generic and totally boring scripts. Take a look at this intro and you'll understand what I mean. Instead, take the time to go through the footage and the related articles yourself. It might seem like extra effort, but crafting your script manually ensures it's more engaging, accurate, and tailored to your style. Once you've reviewed the footage and articles, it's time to craft your own story around the incident. Make it intriguing and suspenseful while sticking to the facts. It doesn't have to take forever, just enough effort to create something that grabs attention and keeps viewers engaged. Once you've nailed your narration, head over to 11 Labs or your favorite voiceover tool. Paste your script and choose a voice character from their library that matches your brand's vibe. If you're not sure how to make the voice sound more natural, don't worry. I've got a whole video on that, and the link is in the description. With your voiceover ready, let's get to editing in CapCut. Start by importing both your voiceover and video. Add them to the timeline, and let's get to work. For this video, starting with a snippet of the car chase scene can really hook your audience. So find that part of the clip, cut or copy it, and move it to the beginning of the timeline. Push the voiceover forward a bit. There's no need for narration during this part just yet. Next, add a black fade transition between the chase scene and the start of the original clip. This creates a smooth and professional transition. Now drop a text and add an introduction to give viewers a general idea of what this video is all about. Keep it intriguing. Don't give away too much if you want your viewers to stick around until the end. Format the text however you like, and add a background for better visibility. You can choose your preferred color, but let's make it pop by adjusting the transparency. Play around with the settings until it looks just right. For a bit of flair, apply a simple typewriter animation to the text. Adjust the duration so it doesn't feel rushed or too slow. The red background doesn't look great, so let's change that to black. This looks considerably better. Now fade the audio out as the transition fades to black like this. Once the main edits are in place, go through your timeline and make any tweaks as needed. Before you finalize, don't forget to add a warning at the beginning. Select everything in your timeline and create a compound clip to make it easier to manage. Grab a background from CapCut stock materials and drop it at the very start of your timeline. Drag a text for the warning header, change the color, make it bold, and position it at the top. Now add another text box for the actual warning message. Feel free to customize the wording to fit your style and include a fade-in animation for that professional touch. Once you're happy with how everything looks, export the video in 1080p or 2K resolution. Just like that, your video is ready for upload. To avoid any issues, make sure you include a disclaimer in the video description. Okay, so these two channels are getting millions of views simply by telling engaging stories of historical figures. And if you think these kinds of channels can't be monetized, think again, because they absolutely are. So in this video, I'm going to share the ultimate blueprint for creating your own viral historical shorts. And the best part? We're going to level them up like this.
Check out these crazy facts about Alexander the Great. His mom convinced him that his real dad was Zeus, the Greek god, and that he was destined to conquer the world. During his conquests, he encountered the Gordian knot, which legend said could only be untied by the future conqueror of Asia. When he couldn't untie it, Alexander simply cut it with his sword. Problem solved. And here's the wildest part. After his death, Alexander's body didn't decompose for days, making people think he was a god. But modern scientists believe he wasn't dead at all. They think he had a neurological disorder that left him paralyzed, but fully aware. So, history's greatest conqueror was actually buried alive.
So how can you create something like this? First, we'll generate our script and images, then move on to the voiceover. After that, we'll transform our images into stunning videos using the Luma Dream Machine. Finally, we'll put everything together using CapCut. So let's get started. The first step is to create our script. I'll show you two techniques you can use. First, we'll go to ChatGPT and ask it to give us some facts about a historical character, in this case, Alexander the Great. From there, we can select one and ask it to craft a 30-second engaging story. The second option is to find a popular video on YouTube and use the YouTube summary with ChatGPT and Claude Chrome extension to extract the transcript. Now that we have our transcript, we can ask ChatGPT to paraphrase the story and provide 10 or more prompts for generating our images. To keep our character consistent, we'll get a detailed description from ChatGPT and create our final prompt from it. Next, we'll paste the prompt to generate our image and grab the Gen ID, which we'll use for future generations. Let's test the consistency by creating an image of our Alexander on a horse and a few more. As you can see, ChatGPT maintains the character's consistency in every scene. We can use this process to generate the remainder of our images. Now that our images are ready, we'll head to 11 Labs to create our voiceover. Let's paste our full story and select a voice character from the available options. For this demonstration, I'll be using Adam, a popular voice character on social media. The next step is to animate our images. Let's head over to Luma Dream Machine and upload our images. For better results, I'll include a short description of each scene and then wait for my generation. Keep in mind that video generation can take a while due to high demand, so I recommend that you create different accounts and upload your other images if you don't want to pay for this tool. Our videos are ready. But as you can see, I had to generate it twice because our character's face seemed to mutate slightly in the first video. But now that we have our videos, we need to find a background music. I recommend 3 ways to find a great soundtrack. First, check out Breaking Copyright. Look for orchestral tracks that are free to use on YouTube. Just remember to credit the creators to avoid any issues. The second option is to generate your own soundtrack. Simply go to Suno AI and create a song. Make sure you check Instrumental, and then paste this command to generate your background music. These sounds can be pretty impressive, but you should only use this option if you're willing to invest, as the free version of Suno doesn't include commercial rights. The final option is to grab a free track from YouTube's audio library. I'll leave a list of my favorite soundtracks from the YouTube audio library that would be great for historical videos in the resource channel on my Discord server. You can also find prompts and other resources I use in my videos on the server. The link is on my channel page. Now it's time to compile our video. Let's import our clips, background music, and voice into CapCut and add them to our timeline. We'll increase the volume and arrange our clips according to the flow of our story. Depending on the type of video, you can select your preferred aspect ratio. Keep in mind that some of these clips can be very slow, so we'll speed them up a bit. We'll also crop some of these videos to better fit our narrative. I'll quickly finish the arrangement. For sections where we use images instead of videos, we can add some simple animations. The next step is to add transitions between our clips. Since our image already included a lightning bolt and Luma Dream Machine animated it nicely, we can add a lightning sound and effect. We'll also add a sword clash sound effect and duplicate it a few times. Now, let's add an angelic sound effect to this clip of Alexander as a god. We'll also add a clear filter and drag it to cover the entire width of our project. Check out the difference after applying the filter. Definitely an improvement. Next, we'll generate our captions, add a bounce-out animation for a single text caption effect, and center it. For the font, let's select this one and apply a shadow. We can also choose one of these templates and then apply our font. Our video looks great, but before we remove the watermark at the top, let's add our background music. We'll adjust the volume to find the perfect balance and trim it at the end. Now, we can export our video in 720p resolution. To get rid of the watermark, we'll go to 123 apps and choose the watermark removal. Now we can import our video and draw a rectangle around the Luma Dream Machine logo. All that's left is to apply the changes and export our new video. The last step is to increase the resolution of our video. Feel free to skip this step, but I prefer 1080p or above resolution even for short-form content. So we'll go to TensorPix and import our new video. The only thing we'll do here is select the 400% Ultra and enhance our video. It may take a few minutes, but our 4K resolution video is ready for download. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel for more, and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you and see you in the next one. Okay, so this historical documentary channel only has a handful of videos, but somehow has over 11 million views, with more than 100,000 subscribers. And a quick look at Social Blade shows they're already making over $3,000 each month, which is insane. So in this video, I'm going to take you on a step-by-step journey to create your own captivating historical documentary videos and help you level them up like this.
In the dawn of humanity, our ancestors roamed the African savannas. These early hominins, such as Australopithecus, were among the first to walk upright. They lived in small groups, relying on their environment for food and shelter. With the development of simple tools, these early humans began to shape their world. The ability to create and use tools marked a significant leap in our evolution, paving the way for future advancements. Around 1.8 million years ago, a new species, Homo erectus, emerged and embarked on a remarkable journey. They migrated out of Africa, spreading across Europe and Asia. This period of exploration and adaptation laid the foundation for the spread of human civilization.
One of the best things about the historical documentary niche is that it's considered evergreen. People will always be fascinated by history, which means your content can continue to attract viewers for years to come. And guess what? You can do it all without ever showing your face. We'll kick things off by generating our script using ChatGPT, then create compelling voiceovers. Next, we'll generate stunning images, bring them to life with animations, and select the perfect background music. Finally, we'll piece everything together in CapCut and enhance the resolution of our videos. So let's get started. For this demonstration, we will be creating a video about the history of human civilization. To get started, we'll give ChatGPT the command to generate a 2,000-word documentary on our topic. As you can see, ChatGPT has created our narration for each scene. Now, we need the full narration for our voiceover, so let's go ahead and grab that. Finally, let's ask ChatGPT to create 3 or more prompts for each scene to make our image generation easier. With our script in hand, it's time to generate the voiceover for our narration. We'll start by copying our narration from ChatGPT and heading over to 11 Labs. While 11 Labs isn't entirely free, their generous free monthly plan offers plenty to get you started. You can choose from a variety of available voiceovers or explore the thousands of voices in their extensive voice library. To make things even simpler, I recommend checking out my detailed video where I sift through over 2,000 English voice characters to highlight my top picks. This will save you time and help you find the perfect voice for your documentary. For this demonstration, we'll be using Adam, a popular voice on social media. Keep in mind that longer scripts can sometimes sound weird, so I recommend pasting shorter sections at a time. Around 500 characters per generation works well for me, though some suggest up to 700 characters. With our voiceover ready, it's time to move on to the visuals. In this demonstration, I'll show you both free and paid methods for creating images. In the case of free users, I recommend Leonardo AI or Microsoft Copilot to generate your images. For those using Leonardo AI, start by selecting the Leonardo Lightning preset and choosing your preferred aspect ratio. In our case, 16:9 for our long-form video. Next, copy the prompts we generated from ChatGPT and paste them individually into Leonardo AI. The initial results are promising, but feel free to tweak the prompts and explore other presets, like the anime style, if that suits your documentary's aesthetic. For Copilot users, head over to the designer and paste your prompt. The images generated here look fantastic, so let's create a few more. However, note that Copilot provides square aspect ratio images for free users. Since we need landscape-style images for our long-form video, we'll use Adobe Firefly's Generative Expand feature. Upload your image to Firefly, select Expand, and then choose Widescreen. Keep in mind that Firefly typically adds their watermark at the bottom left side, so let's use the handles to extend that side of our image. Now let's hit Generate and check out the final results. All 3 options look fantastic, so we'll pick one and download it. The last step is to remove Firefly's watermark. We'll head over to Adobe Image Resizer and import our image. Now let's select YouTube and choose the appropriate aspect ratio. We can drag our image until the Firefly logo is no longer visible. Once everything looks perfect, our landscape-style image is ready for download. For paid users, we'll be using DALL-E. However, feel free to use your preferred image generator. Let's paste our prompt and include the aspect ratio. The image looks great, but let's grab a close-up view. We'll repeat this process until all of our images have successfully been generated. The next step is to animate our images. For that, we will be using Luma Dream Machine. Keep in mind that Luma Dream Machine isn't completely free, but they do offer 30 free generations monthly. Unfortunately, it can be quite slow for free users, so I recommend paying for the tool if possible. Alternatively, you can create multiple accounts and run additional generations like I did. Now let's upload our image and include the prompt we used to generate it. We can also add our preferred action and then wait for our video to be ready. Our short video looks great, so we'll repeat this process for the rest of our images. Before we move on to editing, we need to find the perfect soundtrack for our documentary. We can ask ChatGPT to help us identify the best types of music that will enhance our documentary's atmosphere. As you can see, ChatGPT has provided us with a detailed list of genres to consider for each scene. Let's start with the first recommendation, epic orchestral. and see how it complements our visuals. For free users, I recommend grabbing a few tracks from the YouTube audio library, or visiting Breaking Copyright to select the genre you need. Choose a track that is free to use on YouTube, and always remember to credit the artist to avoid any issues. For paid users looking to elevate their documentary, I recommend using Suno to create custom soundtracks. The service is reasonably priced, and you can simply select Instrumental and paste your copied text. These music generators are excellent for creating soundtracks, making them perfect for videos like ours. Now it's time to edit our video. Let's open CapCut and import our clips, voiceovers, and soundtrack. First, we'll add our voiceover to the timeline and arrange the clips to match the flow of our story. Depending on the narration, we may need to shorten some clips and speed others up as necessary to maintain a smooth and engaging narrative. Next, we need to add some transitions. Let's choose simple transitions to avoid adding too much motion to the video. Alternatively, we can pick one consistent transition and apply it to all our clips. We'll also select a filter and drag it to cover the entire timeline for a cohesive look. Finally, let's find some effects that perfectly complement individual clips and apply them to enhance the visual appeal. Next, we'll grab our background music, drop it into the timeline, and decrease the overall volume to ensure it doesn't overpower the narration. I realized I neglected to add sound effects, so let's find some suitable ones and add them to the timeline as well. Before we export our video, let's generate our captions. We'll select an animation style and change the font to Comica Axis. Our text isn't very clear, so let's add a shadow for better readability and position the captions properly. Our video is looking great, so let's go ahead and export it in 720p resolution. The final step is to increase the resolution of our video. To do this, we'll head over to vMake Video Enhancer and upload our video. Now, we just need to wait for vMake to finish its magic, and our high-resolution video is ready. Anyway, I hope you found this demonstration helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Alright, so imagine this. A one-year-old channel that's already making more than $15,000 each month from ads alone. And what's even more impressive is that these are some of the easiest videos you can ever make. It doesn't require you to show your face or any fancy editing and can be done with completely free tools. Think this sounds too good to be true? Check out this channel with a logo that looks like it was drawn by my 5-year-old niece, but somehow has over 500,000 subscribers from just a handful of videos. And what's even more interesting is that none of their videos, except the most recent ones, has anything less than 200,000 views. All this channel is doing is just creating simple explainer videos on any interesting or trending topics. Oh, and when I say simple, I mean this kind of simple. No out-of-this-world level animations and effects that the rest of us are constantly trying to achieve. But somehow, they're getting comments like these.
No sponsors, no intros, just straight to the point, simple and quick. If only more videos were like this.
This is the best channel I've ever found. Thanks, algorithm god.
And if you doubt that a channel like this can be monetized, think again. The only thing you need in this niche is an interesting video idea, an AI voiceover generator, and some very basic Canva or CapCut editing skills. Yes, it's that simple. And I'm going to make it even simpler by showing you the exact steps you need to create your own explainer channel. We'll do everything from scripting to editing our first explainer video together. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to succeed in this space. We'll first take a look at how we can create this style of video using Canva. And for those who want to level it up with some effects and animations, we'll create one in CapCut as well. As a bonus, I'll even show you how to get access to the icons they used in the video we'll be modeling. Keep in mind that you can find the resources for this and all of my videos in the resource category on my Discord server. The link will be in the description or on the channel page. I only ask that you stick with me till the end, and also hit the like and subscribe buttons if you find the video helpful. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is to create our script. For that, I'll show you two methods using ChatGPT. We'll head over to ChatGPT and ask it to generate some political ideologies. Now, we need a brief description for each of these ideologies, so let's go ahead and generate that as well. This looks good, and we can definitely use it for our video. Now let's take a look at the second method. This isn't recommended, but for this demonstration, we're going to grab the transcript from this video. Let's first install the YouTube summary with ChatGPT and Claude Google Chrome extension, and then go back to our selected video. Now, we just need to hit this button, and the extension will grab the full transcript from the video. Now let's copy the transcript and ask ChatGPT to paraphrase it. I recommend just using this transcript as inspiration or for some pointers instead of simply paraphrasing another video. We need it in a narration form so we can give that command as well. The next step is to create our voiceover. So let's copy part of our script and paste it into the text-to-speech. Keep in mind that longer script generations can sound weird, so I typically do a maximum of 500 characters per generation. We can select one of these voices, but I prefer something from the voice library. Ordinarily, we could test out a few voices from here, but I already have a cheat book here, so I'll quickly choose a voice character and add it on 11 Labs. Let's go ahead and generate our voiceover. Now that we have our voiceover, we can begin the video editing. To show how easy it is to make these videos, we're first going to create it using Canva and then follow up with CapCut. So let's go to Canva and create a blank 1920 by 1080 video. The first thing we're going to do here is add our voiceover. Canva has a wide array of stock graphics, so we don't need to leave the app for a majority of our images. Since the icons from the video we're modeling look good, let's go to the same website and grab them. We'll select the ideologies category and use the browser search to easily find conservatism, which is our first ideology. Let's open the first one in a new tab and see. This image looks good, so let's go ahead and download it. Next, we'll search for socialism and open this one. The image looks good, but we'll have to remove the background. Make sure that you credit this website if you decide to use their images. One of our images has a background, so let's remove it. Canvas Pro users can easily remove background from images, but free users like myself will need to use PixelCut Background Remover. Simply drop the image and wait for the software to do its magic. As you can see, PixelCut has done a great job with this image. Now let's go back to Canva and import our images. We'll arrange them based on our narration and add our text. We need to change the font, so let's choose Comic Sans. Duplicate the text a few times, and modify them appropriately. Let's change the duration of our first page so it aligns perfectly with the narration. This looks good, so let's copy its contents to a new page and make sure the duration of the new page also aligns with our narration. We need to add a transition between these two pages, so let's select this one and check out our result. This transition won't be visible at this point since we haven't done anything different on our second page. What we're going to do now is to group everything on this page and then scale it till only these two ideologies are left on the screen. Let's also group the contents on our first page as well. Next, we will create a new page, add the image for our first ideology, and then the title. The best thing about Canva is that we get access to a bunch of graphics even for free users. Let's add this oval shape, scale it, and change the color to red. We also need to add a line, so let's grab one and change both the weight and color. Now let's duplicate the page and remove these shapes from the previous page. We'll make sure the duration aligns with our narration and duplicate the page a second time. The only thing we're going to do on this slide is to add this word and modify the page duration. Now we simply need to duplicate our page again, delete these, and find some cool graphics that align with our narration. The rest of our video on Canva will follow this same process, so let's go ahead and recreate this inside CapCut. The first thing we're going to do is to import our voiceover and the images we'll be using for our ideologies. We'll drop the voiceover into our timeline and change the aspect ratio of our project to 16:9. Next, let's grab a white background from the stock materials and add it to our timeline. Now, I'll quickly arrange our images for the first scene. The background makes it difficult to scale some of our elements, so let's replace it with a green one for now. Much better. We'll add our text and choose Comic Sans font here. Now we can scale and duplicate the text for our other ideologies. Our images and text need to align with our voiceover, so let's select them all and decrease their duration. We'll need to also create a compound clip. Now it's time to scale our image at the beginning, so let's add a keyframe, move forward a bit, and then scale the clip till only two of our ideologies remain. This video doesn't need anything complicated, so we won't be adding any fancy animations and effects. Just as we did in Canva, we'll add our image here and include the title. For the shapes, we can grab them from the available stickers, but these are already animated. So what we can do is to go to these two websites, Vecteezy and Flaticon. For simple shapes like a line or a circle, I personally prefer Flaticon. It's simple and you can change the colors directly before downloading. We can also do this with Vecteezy, but that would require using a third tool like Photoshop or Photopea. For those who don't know about Photopea, it's a free online Photoshop alternative with similar features and interface. Let's drop our image and simply add an overlay with our preferred color. Simple as that. All that's left is to export the image as a PNG file. Now let's import our new images into CapCut and arrange them appropriately. For our other images, we'll go back to Vecteezy and download what we need. Always make sure that you've selected PNG format to make things easier. All that's left is to go back to CapCut and add any new images to the story. Repeat this process according to the flow of our story till our video is ready for export. We'll select 2K or 4K resolution, and this is our final result.
Conservatism. In the world of conservatism, the past is treasured, and traditional values are the cornerstone of society. Here, the nuclear family is upheld as the ideal, organized religion is revered, the military is respected, and property rights are fiercely protected.
This niche isn't saturated, and as you can see, you don't need to be an experienced editor to create these videos. The tools and techniques we've covered are accessible to everyone, making it easy for you to start creating content right away. However, remember that adding your own unique touch can help you stand out from the competition, whether it's through your style, humor, or a fresh perspective. Anyway, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to check out some of my other videos like this one where I talk about some pretty cool viral niches, or this other video where I list some of the top AI tools every content creator should know about. Thank you, and see you in the next one. What if I told you that you could actually monetize your YouTube channel with just one video? Yep, you heard me right. And before you jump to conclusions, no, I'm not talking about short-form content. I'm talking about a channel that's crushing it creating long videos. And here's the wild part. They're not the only ones in this niche pulling in crazy numbers. There's this other channel that's uploaded just 5 videos, and their views are off the charts. And get this, another one with only 9 uploads is already racking up hundreds of thousands of views per video. All of this from a channel that uploaded their first video barely a month ago. Sounds insane, right? But here's the kicker. All they're doing is creating these super simple animation-style videos, mostly about why it sucks to be born as certain animals. The genius about these videos is the fact that their animations are so basic they look like something a kindergartner could have drawn. And that's what makes their videos so relatable, funny, and most importantly, educational. Now let's be real. If your drawing skills peaked at kindergarten like mine did, this whole niche probably looks like your worst nightmare. But here's the thing. This actually works in your favor, because it means there's less competition in the niche. And honestly, creating this style of video is easier than you think. The best part is that you don't even need to know how to draw or even use some fancy 2D editing software. This entire video can be made using AI tools, maybe a little Photoshop magic if you want to level up, and of course CapCut for editing. All you need to do is follow every step in this video, and you'll be well on your way to creating your own viral videos. To prove to you that this isn't some BS, here's a short clip I made using this exact process.
First off, your journey begins as an egg. But guess what? You're not alone. Nope, you're one of 30 or 40 siblings, all racing to be the first to hatch. It's a good thing you're competitive, right? Because the early bird, or rather the early croc, gets the best shot at survival. But don't get too cocky just yet, because the moment you pop out of your egg, chaos begins. Half your siblings don't even make it to their first swim lesson. Why? Well, let's start with the birds. To them, your nest is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet. And if it's not a bird swooping down for a snack, it's something even more terrifying, your own mother. That's right, Mama Gator, who lovingly guarded her eggs from predators, might decide she's a little peckish herself.
Before we dive in, let me give you a quick rundown of what we're going to do. First, I'll walk you through the entire process of creating a channel and branding it just like these guys. Then we'll move on to generating topics for this niche, followed by crafting the narration using some special prompts I've got lined up for you. After that, we'll get into generating the voiceover with both free and paid tools. Next, I'll show you how to create images for your animations, as well as how you can easily edit them. Finally, I'll walk you through how to compile everything into a polished video using CapCut. Guys, I'm not holding back on this one, so make sure to hit those awesome buttons if you find this helpful. And hey, leave a nice comment if you can. I try my best to read and respond to every single one myself. Now, let's get started. The first step is creating your channel and branding. If you're already familiar with this, feel free to skip ahead to the next part. Otherwise, if you haven't created a channel yet, don't worry. I've got you covered. Here's what you need to do. Head over to YouTube and click on your profile picture. From there, select Switch Account and then View All Channels. Next, click on Create New Channel, and you'll be prompted to pick a username. If you've already got one in mind, great, go with that. If not, no stress. Typically, we'd use ChatGPT for this, but I'm going to show you a new tool that can help with your branding as well as serve as a companion on your YouTube automation journey. This tool is called Alpha Twin. Honestly, if you're new to YouTube automation and need someone to hold your hand, this tool is like having your own AI guy. And I'm not kidding. This bot is actually trained on the YouTube automation knowledge of AI Guy. If you've seen any of his videos, you should already know the level of value you'll be getting. But enough with the hype. Let's head over to the tool and paste this command asking it to generate a few channel name ideas, taking inspiration from the channels we've talked about in this video. Alpha Twin will come up with some creative suggestions for you to choose from. And if the first batch of names doesn't feel right, just ask it to regenerate until you find the perfect one that clicks. Once you've got your channel name locked in, it's time to craft the description. You can write this yourself, but if you need a little help, Alpha Twin can step in here too. Paste this prompt requesting a fitting description for the channel, something engaging and to the point. Remember, no one wants to read an essay on your channel page, so keep it short, sweet, and something that grabs attention. Now that your channel is all set up, the next step is to add tags to improve your channel's SEO. That stands for search engine optimization. This is what helps your channel show up when people search for certain keywords. Go ahead and add tags like animals, educational, and any other phrases that fit your niche or theme. Quick tip: avoid using keywords that aren't relevant to your channel. Not only does that mess with your SEO, but it's also just not helpful for your audience. While you're at it, make sure to specify the category your niche falls under. For this kind of video, you'll want to choose the education category. Next up, you'll need a logo and banner for your channel. Most of these channels use some form of character as their logo, so you can ask this tool to create a prompt for generating a character in this drawing style, or you simply need to modify this one. The tool is trained to create some really good prompts for images. Now hit copy, head over to Leonardo AI, and paste it. Make sure you select this aspect ratio before you hit generate. Look through the results and choose one that would be perfect for your channel. If you don't like these results, go ahead and regenerate. The last step here is to create a simple banner. As you can see, this channel simply uses their full-length character for their banner. This is also why our logo was created in portrait format. Feel free to drop it on top of a banner-sized white background, but if you want something a bit more complex like this one, paste this prompt inside Leonardo AI and make sure the aspect ratio is set to 16:9 before you generate the banner. These images look good, but if you want something a bit more customized, create the animals individually and arrange them on a white background inside a tool like Photoshop, Canva, or Photopea. Feel free to upload it to your channel once you're satisfied. Now let's move on to creating content. The first thing you need to do is to generate a topic. This is particularly easy for this style of content, but you can still use ChatGPT to generate them. All you have to do is simply head over to ChatGPT and paste this prompt. You can find this prompt, as well as every other prompt I'll be using in this video, inside a Google Doc on my Discord server. The link will be in the description and on my channel page. Now simply hit enter, and ChatGPT will generate a list of topics for you. As you can see from here, there are two popular title formats for this style of video. First, there's this one that starts with why it sucks to be born as an animal. Then there's this other one that starts with your life as. Feel free to choose the style you want to focus on for your videos. Once you've decided on the topic you want to go with, the next step is to create your script. Here is where you can run into a bit of a problem. The typical length for this style of video is more than 8 minutes. However, you'll notice that the narration ChatGPT gives is typically around 1,100 words, which isn't enough. You need a word count of about 2,000. But don't worry much about this, as I've created 3 separate prompts to help get the job done for you. All you have to do is head over to the Google Doc and copy this prompt. Now go back to ChatGPT and paste it here. You need to change this to the name of the animal you're targeting. Once you're done, go ahead and hit enter. As you can see, ChatGPT has created the first section of the narration. So head back to the Google Doc and copy the second prompt, paste it into ChatGPT, and once again replace this with the name of the animal. Now hit enter and repeat this for the last prompt. The only difference with the third prompt is that you won't need to replace anything. Simply hit enter to generate the last part of your narration. Just like that, your script is ready. The next step is to create the voiceover. Free users can use Clipchamp or any preferred text-to-speech generator, but if you're looking for the best on the market, 11 Labs is a great option. You need to find a good voice character, so head over to their voice library and look through their huge portfolio of voice characters. Once you've decided on one, just select it and paste your prompt. I recommend keeping each batch under 700 to avoid any weirdness in the voiceover. Now, hit generate and you're done. The next step is to create the images you'll be using for the story. Now you can use ChatGPT to generate image prompts, but I recommend going through the story yourself to better determine the kind of background and characters you'll need. Once that's done, you need to move on to actually generating the images. Feel free to use your favorite image generator, but I recommend Pixelman, which is free to use at the moment. Head over to their page and hit this button. As you can see, the interface is quite similar to other image generators. To get started, paste this prompt, which you'll find in the Google Doc. Make sure you include this command and the style of image you're going for. The first thing we'll be generating is the background. Then we'll move on to the characters for our story. Feel free to test out the available models here, but this Flux One model works perfectly for this style of image. Now select the aspect ratio that you're going for. Choose 9:16 if you want to try creating shorts, but for this style of video, you can choose 16:9. You can also choose the number of images per generation here and go ahead with the image generation. These images look great, so feel free to generate a few more. Next, I'm going to create the egg, so I'll paste the same prompt and simply modify it to make it an egg with a simple background. This way, it'll be easier to remove it. These images are perfect for what we want, so we can definitely use them. Now, let's modify the prompt to create the crocodile from the story. This image looks cute for the baby croc, so let's use that. Feel free to generate a few more, but to save time, let's move on to generating the image of the bird. This looks pretty good. So let's move on to the next step, which is editing the images. Feel free to use Photoshop, but if you don't have it, Photopea is a great alternative. Simply head over to their page and drop the image. The first one we're editing is the egg. First thing I'm going to remove is the background. So I'll select this magic wand tool, click on the background, and hit delete. If you face this issue where the color of the egg has been erased, just press Ctrl-Z to undo, then Ctrl-D to deselect. Now decrease the tolerance level from here and click the background once again. As you can see, only the background has been selected, so hit the delete button to remove it. Head over to File and export it as a PNG. Make sure you choose file names that will make it easy for you to identify each image. Now we need to create the egg cracking effect. So choose the brush tool and change the color to match the outline of the egg. Instead of drawing the full crack effect, it's better to draw it in pieces. The line doesn't need to be perfect, so anything will do. Export this first part with an appropriate name. Then go back to the image and add a bit more. Export that one too and repeat this till you've created the full crack effect. Now we're going to split the egg, so let's first draw another similar line above the current one. It doesn't need to be perfect, but once it's done, pick the lasso tool and use it to select only the top part of the egg like this. Next, hit Ctrl+X and Ctrl+V to paste the selected part on a separate layer. To make things easier to see, I'm going to add a black image behind the egg while we do a bit of cleanup. There's a bit of white here, so you can use the eraser tool to remove it or combine it with the magic wand tool to do the same. We need to do this cleanup for both layers, so I'll quickly speed through it. Once everything is done, we can get rid of the black background. Now we need to create an effect for the middle of the egg. We'll use a different layer for that, so create one from here. Also try naming the layers as well to make them easy to identify. Use the brush tool to draw this simple shape. After that, move it below the bottom layer and hide it to make it easier to modify our new shape. While the middle layer is still selected, change the color to something like this and select the paint bucket. Now simply click inside the shape to color it. Check out the result when we enable the bottom layer now. We need to bring in our baby croc, so I'll import it and rasterize the image. Select the magic wand and use it to remove the background and shadow. You can bring in a black shape layer again to make sure the background has completely been removed. Now we'll move the baby croc in between the bottom and middle layers and resize it a bit. Check out how it's looking. To make things easier, I prefer exporting the top of the egg separately. Then export the egg with the baby croc a few times as we move it up slowly. Next, we need to bring in the bird, rasterize the layer, and remove the background. Now with the layer selected, head over to Edit and choose Puppet Warp. We want the bird to look like it's flapping its wings. So I'll go ahead and add a few points at these joints. Feel free to play around with this as it'll be very useful for this style of video. Export this one as well and extend the wings down again. This looks alright, so let's go ahead and bring in the big croc. We'll repeat the earlier process to remove the background and flip the image as well. Most of these videos don't move the limbs of their characters, but I'm going to show you how you can easily do that. Use the lasso tool to select the first limb. Once that's done, hit Ctrl+X to cut it and Ctrl+V to paste it inside a new layer. To make things easier, I recommend naming them. Now repeat this process for the other limbs. Feel free to use the eraser tool to clean up any unwanted additions like these. Once that's done, use the brush tool to join these lines. Also make sure you select the appropriate colors and fill in the missing parts of the body. Once that's done, you just need to move its other limbs. You don't need to do this multiple times. Just once is enough when added to the original. Now, to create the effect of the baby getting bitten in half, you simply need to grab the lasso tool and draw a shape around it. Cut and paste it into a new layer. Next, choose the red color and use the brush tool to draw a few shapes around the edges. It doesn't need to be perfect, as you can see from my poor attempt at drawing. Repeat this for the other half as well, and export. Now the last image we're going to edit is Mama Croc opening its mouth wide. I've already generated an image of a crocodile with its mouth open, so I'll import it and remove the background. I'll flip it as well and use the puppet warp to move the jaws and the neck slowly. You only need a few images. Feel free to add more points to better move the character as you see fit. Once you're done with your characters, the next step is to move on to editing. CapCut works perfectly, but feel free to choose your preferred video editor. Before we do that though, there's one thing I personally like to do. Most people prefer increasing the resolution of their videos after they're done, but that usually requires some form of paid subscription. But this niche is quite different since we're only going to be using images. So we can increase the quality of the images before we move on to editing. The tool I recommend for this is Upscale with a Y. It's free to install on your computer and works for both Windows and Mac. Once it's installed, you simply need to check Batch Upscale and select the folder that contains your files. Next, choose your preferred model as well as the scale you want to enhance and upscale your images. The duration depends on the speed of your computer, but it doesn't take long even for batch upscaling tasks. Once that's done, import your images and voiceover into CapCut. The first thing you need to do is to add the voiceover to the timeline. AI voiceovers sometimes have these long pauses, so go through and remove them. Keep playing to make sure it sounds right. But once that's done, it's time to arrange your images. This is also why you should name your files appropriately. Now bring in the background image, add the image of the full egg on top and scale it down. Make sure you listen to the voiceover to identify the best places to put each image. Now I'll duplicate the egg a few times, position each image and resize them appropriately. To add a bit of movement to the eggs, feel free to use the keyframes. But a simpler way is to add this shake effect and play around with the settings. To save time, I'll quickly repeat this for the other images of the egg. I neglected to split the images here, so I'll do that, and even get rid of the shake effect for the first part. I think it's better if they only start shaking after the narration talks about movement. We'll be focusing on this particular egg, so I'll split it and bring in this first image of the egg crack. Instead of resizing each new image to match up with the original image, it's a lot easier to create a keyframe for that image and simply copy-paste it on any new layer. As you can see, this makes things a lot simpler. I'll quickly bring in the remainder of the egg crack images, paste the copied keyframe, and trim the layers. The effect looks too slow, so I'll shorten and arrange the clips. Now this looks considerably better. Next, we need to bring in the open egg image and paste the keyframe. We'll also bring in the top of the egg as well, and check out the magic when I paste the keyframe. To animate the eggshell, you can either split it and move each part separately, or use keyframes to animate the egg. Don't forget to bring in the images of the crock popping up slowly from the shell. Now take a look at this animation. It's already looking pretty cool. All this, and we didn't need to learn some fancy software. These videos may take some time, but it's a viewer magnet and also very monetizable. Now let's bring in the bird and resize it. We're going to use the same keyframe trick to make things easier with these other images. This animation is also a bit too long, so I'll shorten the clips and duplicate them a few times. It doesn't look perfect, but definitely good enough for what we're going for. To make the bird move, select them all and create a compound clip. Now we can use keyframes to move the bird across the screen. To turn the bird, split the compound clip here and hit this mirror button. Drag the bird to the screen and use keyframes to continue the animation. I'll trim a few of the egg layers to remove those eggs according to the narration. To create the effect where the bird swoops down to grab an egg, simply use the keyframes and scale the bird. To make it easier to see, I'll hide the background layer for now. I'll also hide this egg and simply use keyframes to move both the egg and the bird. Keep in mind that it doesn't need to be perfect. Now let's see how the animation is looking. This looks pretty good, so we can move on to the next scene where the large croc is running. Simply bring in the two croc images and duplicate them a few times. I'll also trim these other layers that aren't necessary in this scene and bring in a new background image. Now select the duplicated images and create a compound clip. To create the movement, move the character here and set a keyframe. Go forward a bit and move the image to where you want to end. This doesn't look bad, but I think it'll look better if the limbs are on screen at the start. Now this looks pretty cool, so let's move on to the next scene. I'll quickly bring in this image of the croc guarding its eggs that I made, add a bit of zoom and move on to the next scene. Next, we need to create the biting scene, so I'll quickly bring in the background, the egg in this image, scale the image a bit and bring in the others. I'll drop both images of the baby croc bitten in half. Bring the images closer and move the larger croc's layer above. As you can see, this makes it look like the large one is biting the smaller one. It doesn't need to be perfect, so feel free to play around with this. Don't forget to add sound effects where necessary. You can grab them directly from CapCut or search on Pixabay. You simply need to drop them inside the timeline and trim where necessary. Now you can decrease the volume and repeat this throughout the remainder of the video. Feel free to add a filter if you want to, but once everything looks good, you can export your video at 2K resolution.
Alright guys, let's take a look at how you can create a simple stick figure animation like this one.
Ever wanted to create those viral stick figure animations but have zero drawing skills? Well, buckle up because I'm about to show you how to do it. No art degree required. And if you're anything like me, you've probably watched a ton of these videos eagerly thinking, this is it. I'm about to become the Picasso of stick figures. Then, bam. They all end up using Adobe Express, and let's be real, the results are, less than impressive. Not to mention those videos get fewer views than a potato peeling tutorial. But fear not. I've spent several coffee-fueled nights cracking the code for us non-artists. And guess what? It's not rocket science. In fact, my first attempt wasn't half bad, and I can confidently say it was made without shedding a single tear. And here's the kicker. You don't have to dip into your savings to make these animations. You don't even need to know how to draw. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to create viral stick animations. So stick around, pun totally intended, and don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons if you find this helpful. Just a heads up though, this isn't some magical one-click process. It's gonna take a little effort, so let's dive in. First things first, you need an idea. Now sure, you could ask ChatGPT for a script, but trust me, the goldmine of humor in these animations comes from your own brain. Watch a few viral animations to get the juices flowing. Some of these creators are literally making videos about a stick figure tripping over its own foot, and people can't get enough. Once your genius idea strikes, it's time to script it out. Don't overthink it. Keep it fun, short, and punchy. After that, head over to a text-to-speech tool for the voiceover. I personally recommend 11 Labs. Their voices are very realistic, and they give you 10,000 free characters monthly. Just slap that script in there, pick a voice you like, maybe one that sounds a little dramatic for comedic effect, and boom, voiceover done. Now comes the fun part, creating the animation itself. Don't panic if your drawing skills peaked in kindergarten. I'm in the same boat, so I'll be showing you a few tricks. We're going to use an app called Krita. It's open source and you can run it on your phone, tablet, or PC. Next, we need to set the scene. For this demo, I'll create something super simple. A living room with a couch and maybe a fridge. Here's the thing, I don't know how to draw a couch, but here's the hack. Instead of sketching from scratch, we're going to find a basic line drawing online. Head over to your favorite free vector website and search for sofa line drawing. The key is finding images that are simple enough for our stick figure vibe. Some images are paid, so don't forget to filter by free ones. Pick something you like and download it. Alright, you've got your vector file, but we need a PNG format, so let's head over to Photopea. It's like a free version of Photoshop. Go ahead, import your vector file. Notice how it doesn't have a background layer? That's perfect. No need to mess with anything here, just export it as a PNG and boom, we've got our sofa ready to go. Next up, let's grab our fridge. Same process. Search, download, and as you'll see, this one has a colored background. We're not about that life, so we're importing this into Photopea as well. Now here's the fun part. Turn off that pesky background layer. And while you're at it, feel free to play around with the colors. Want to make the shadow a funky color? Or remove it completely? Go wild. Once everything's looking good, export your fridge as a PNG, and you're ready to move on. Now time to fire up Krita. We're creating a new document with a resolution of 1920 by 1080, a nice standard size for animations. First things first, let's set up the room. Don't worry, it's way easier than it sounds. Grab the rectangle tool and set the size to something reasonable. Draw out your rectangle, then switch tools to draw two simple lines for the walls. Finally, we'll use the polygon tool to add a door on one side. See? Easy peasy. But wait, we're not done yet. Time to add some color. Select the paint bucket tool, choose your favorite shade, and click to fill in the areas. Once that's looking good, we can bring in our sofa and fridge. Drag and drop the sofa in, resize it to fit the room, and feel free to change up the color if you're feeling creative. Do the same for the fridge. Before you know it, the scene's already starting to look pretty good. Now comes the fun part, creating our character. Look, I'll be honest, my stick figure drawing skills leave a lot to be desired, so we're taking a shortcut. Head over to Vecteezy, where you'll find tons of stick figure options. For this demo, we're going to use a slightly modified version of one of Rico Animation's characters. Don't worry, I'll drop all the assets, including these images, in the resource channel of my Discord server. The link's in the description and also on my channel page. Want to give your stick figure a bit of flair? You can totally add some clothes. Just grab a simple outfit from our trusty image sources, drop it onto the character, and adjust it to fit. We'll use the brush tool to blend the legs into the pants. It's already looking good. Want to go the extra mile? You can add a bow tie, maybe throw in some funky colors and make it your own. For this demo though, we're going to keep things simple. No clothes. I'll add a splash of color to the stick figure and remove the arms and legs. Don't worry, we'll add them back later when we're ready to animate. But for now, removing them will save us a lot of erasing and redrawing when we're repositioning the character. Now, it's time for the big moment, animating. Switch over to the animation window in Krita. Once you're there, right-click and add a new frame. Alright, quick disclaimer, I'm no animation expert. In fact, this is my very first attempt at creating these kinds of animations. So don't be afraid to play around with the features in the app. Experimentation is key. If I can do this, trust me, you can too. Now, when it comes to creating a new frame for your character, it's as simple as duplicating the previous one and shifting things around a bit. Watch as I switch between these frames. You'll see the subtle differences that bring our little stick figure to life. Pro tip, turn on the onion skin feature. Sounds fancy, but all it does is show you the previous and upcoming frames, making it way easier to draw the next part. But since I'm no Van Gogh, I'll be using some clever tricks to get the job done. I want the character to look like he's entering from behind the wall. His full body won't be showing yet, so I'll move the character's frame forward. To save myself some time and headaches, I've already made images of the feet and legs. I'll grab the foot first, drag it into the scene, and position it so it looks like the character is just entering. For the first frame, I'll duplicate it, erase part of it, and voila! It now looks like our character is stepping into the room from outside. In the next frame, we'll move that foot forward just a bit, bring in the leg image, and adjust the position. But here's a trick. Since we don't want the leg visible in the first frame, we'll simply erase it. As you can see, the leg's a little long here, so we'll duplicate the frame and clean it up. Then we'll do the same with the arm, bringing it in so it pops into view. Easy, right? Now for the head. We want it to gradually appear as if our character is peeking in. I'll go to the character layer, drag the frame back to where we want the head reveal to start, and slowly duplicate and reposition it to make it look like the head is creeping in. Using the onion skin will help you position things more smoothly. Once that's done, we'll start moving the hands as well. We don't stop there. Let's shift the eyes a little too. I'll erase the old eyes and draw new ones with the brush tool. Just make sure you've got the right size and color, then click where you want the eyes to go. As you can see, you don't need to be a master artist to create something cool. We're just repositioning and erasing things here and there. As we move forward, we'll continue adjusting the character's body, arms, and legs. And to make it look like our character is bending their knee? Simple, just shorten the leg, reposition it, and use the brush tool to connect the dots. Easy as that. Alright, time to speed things up a bit as we finish up the movement. Now, let's tackle the next challenge, how to make our stick figure speak. I tried creating some lip movement myself, and honestly, the result wasn't half bad. But we need something a bit more presentable, so I went ahead and created a few different versions of the character with various lip movement styles. Let's import the first one. We only need the mouth here, so let's clean up the rest. Once that's done, we'll reposition the mouth and align it with the character. Since we only want this particular lip movement to last a few frames, we'll adjust the duration here. Now we'll repeat the process with the other lip movement styles I created. And check it out. The result actually looks pretty decent. For a first attempt at animating lip movement, this could almost pass as a good animation. So if you're sitting there thinking you can't do this, trust me, if I can do it, anyone can. Now if you want to add a voiceover to your animation, it's super easy. Just hit this button, upload your file, and boom. Instant voiceover.
Alright guys, let's take a look at how you can create a simple stick figure animation.
However, there's one tiny issue with this tool. There's not a lot of flexibility when it comes to editing or repositioning the voiceover within the animation itself. My recommendation? Use this tool to do the animation, and then jump over to something like CapCut to add and fine-tune your voiceover. If you need to change the length of your animation, you can tweak the frames per second and the duration right here. Once you're happy with everything, it's time to render the animation. Just go over here and hit Render Animation, choose Export as Video, and select your preferred file format. Hit this button and voila, your animation is ready. Now if you're curious about how I built this faceless channel, make sure to check out this video where I go over everything you need to create a monetizable faceless channel. Let's face it, one of the biggest headaches in making AI-generated videos is keeping multiple characters consistent throughout different scenes. It's frustrating. Just when you think you've nailed it, a character suddenly looks completely different. But the truth is that AI-generated videos are gradually becoming the norm on social media. Take a look at channels like these that are raking in jaw-dropping numbers from telling stories with the help of AI. However, they all face the same issue. The stories they tell are limited since creating multiple consistent characters in a scene has become the bane of AI-generated videos. Midjourney, DALL-E, Leonardo AI, and a bunch of these image generators have made it easy to keep a single character consistent across our stories. But as soon as you throw a second character into the mix, it suddenly looks like the AI stops listening to instructions. So what do most of us do? Well, we've had to resort to the old trick of creating the characters separately, slapping them onto a background, and calling it a day. Yeah, not exactly ideal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to keep multiple characters consistent across various scenes in your story. Keep in mind that this process isn't perfect at the moment, but you can get some pretty impressive results this way. Here's the plan. First, we're going to dive into generating videos with consistent characters using simple text prompts. Next, we'll cover how to generate images featuring your characters, where they'll actually look like themselves from one scene to the next. And finally, we'll bring those characters to life with our preferred image-to-video generator. Ready? Let's dive in. First, we need a story. Let's head over to ChatGPT and ask for a short story involving two kids named Anna and George. Quick tip, always make sure that your characters are named if you're working with the same ones. Check this out. ChatGPT has given us a simple adventure story involving our characters. But hold on, we're not done yet. Now, we need detailed descriptions of these characters. What do they look like? What are they wearing? For this part, I recommend opening another tab to keep things organized. You don't want your prompts all jumbled up with your story. We'll craft detailed descriptions for each character, and I'll be showing you exactly how to do it step by step. The first thing we'll do here is to paste this prompt. Don't worry. I'll be leaving this and every other prompt I'll be using inside a Google Doc, which can be found in the resource channel of my Discord server. The link will be in the description and on my channel page. This prompt is simply asking ChatGPT to create the description for our characters and also create the prompts for each scene based on the information I'll be providing later. We'll quickly paste our story here and wait for ChatGPT to do its magic. As expected, ChatGPT has given us a solid description of our characters. Now, we want these descriptions turned into prompts. So let's grab the prompt for our first character. In this case, it's George. GPT may attempt to generate the image on its own if you're on any of the paid plans. So, you need to paste this command to stop that from happening. Next, we'll do the same for Anna, our second character. The process is simple, just like we did with George. Now here's where things get fun. We'll need ChatGPT to remember these descriptions and actually use them every time George and Anna show up in the story. For example, when George is mentioned in our story, ChatGPT will insert the description provided. So we'll paste this command and include the description ChatGPT generated for this character. A quick cleanup, hit enter, and voila, it's saved to memory. We'll repeat this for Anna, ensuring that both characters stay consistent throughout. Once that's locked in, we move on to generating scene prompts. This part's a breeze. Just grab a chunk of the story, paste it back into ChatGPT, and watch it auto-generate the perfect scene prompt. The magic of this is that it includes both George and Anna's descriptions, so you're getting consistency, scene after scene. Now that our prompts are ready, it's time to put them into action. We're going to use a text-to-video generator to bring these characters to life. The tool we're using is called Minimax. It's currently free, which is awesome, but fair warning, it might not stay that way forever. So now's the time to take it for a spin. Keep in mind that like most video generators, Minimax doesn't have a built-in consistent character feature yet. But hey, that's where our carefully crafted prompts come in. We're still going to toss in our prompts and see just how well Minimax can keep our characters looking the same from start to finish. Keep in mind that the Minimax website isn't in English, but don't worry. Just hit this handy button to translate it into English or whichever language you prefer. The tool allows you to generate both videos and music from text prompts. But today, we're only focusing on the video generator. That said, feel free to take the music generator for a spin if you're curious. We'll select this button to start creating our video. First thing we're going to do here is to uncheck this box. This is very important since we don't want Minimax to enhance or modify our prompt, at least not for this demonstration. Keep in mind that we're aiming for consistency, and we want the characters exactly as we've designed them. Now, we can paste our carefully crafted prompt and tweak anything that might need a little adjustment. Once that's done, hit generate and wait for the magic to happen. From my experience, video generation usually takes a few minutes, so maybe grab a snack while you wait. Check out this amazing result. No disfigured limbs or weird faces here, just smooth animation with characters who look like, well, themselves. The shadows, body movement, and overall flow all look spot on. Now for the real test. We need to head back to ChatGPT, grab the next scene from our story, and paste it into Minimax. Once we hit generate again, it'll churn out the next part of our video. Don't forget, you can always tweak the prompt before running it through the generator, but once you're happy with it, you'll get another awesome result. And look at this. The characters are consistent, the animation flows beautifully, and honestly, this is one of the best text-to-video outputs I've seen yet. Let's grab a few more prompts from ChatGPT to really push this and compare the results. Take a look at this scene. The river's motion, the characters' movements, and most importantly, the consistency. Everything is just looking good except for this minor issue with George's shirt, which seems to change between scenes. It's subtle and might fly under the radar for most viewers, but as these AI tools evolve, I'm sure we'll be seeing even more refined results soon. This looks good, so we can move on to learning how to do this with image generators, and then animate them using our preferred video generator. Now, I'll be honest, this process isn't perfect yet, especially with clothing and hairstyles, but the results can get you something close. For this demonstration, we'll be testing our prompts with two popular tools, DALL-E and Midjourney. Let's kick things off with DALL-E. We'll paste our prompt into a new window, making a few slight adjustments to refine the details. Now we have our first image with both characters. So far, so good. But here's where things get interesting. We need to see if GPT can maintain character consistency across multiple images. To do that, we'll copy the next scene from our story and paste it back into DALL-E. Feel free to clean up any extra details before you generate the next image. Now let's take a look at the result. We'll compare the new image with the first one. The first character looks pretty similar, but the clothing and hairstyles for the second character are a bit different. I'm sure you can get something a bit more consistent with detailed description for the clothes. But for now, this doesn't look too bad. Now let's try generating these characters using Midjourney. I've already set up a private server, so I'll head there and start by typing /imagine and then paste the prompt. Before we generate, let's tweak the aspect ratio to fit our scene and boom, we've got our first image. The image looks great, but the real challenge is seeing if Midjourney can maintain consistency for our characters in the next scene. So let's grab our next prompt and give it a go. This time, the result looks considerably closer to the first image. The characters themselves are quite similar. Expressions, poses, and overall vibe are consistent, but there's still a little variation in the clothing style. Feel free to experiment by modifying the prompt to include more specific details about the character's clothing, or even their accessories. This can help lock in that consistency across different scenes. As you can see, the text-to-video tool produces significantly better results with multiple consistent characters than using the image generators at the moment, but providing a thorough description of the clothing and hairstyles can lead to similar characters across various scenes. For animating the images, I recommend using Luma Dream Machine or Runway ML. Simply select this option and upload your image. Now we'll set the video duration to 5 seconds and hit generate. It only takes a moment and our video is ready. I hope this helps you create some really epic videos for your channel. Alright, so if you've been following me from the beginning, you already know I'm no professional video editor. Seriously, just take a peek at my earliest videos. They speak volumes. Those first attempts were, well, let's just say they had room for improvement. But fast forward a few months and I can confidently say my editing game has leveled up significantly. So, in this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I edit videos like the one you're watching right now. And here's the best part. We'll be using CapCut, which is absolutely free on both mobile and desktop. So, let's jump right in. First, we'll take a quick tour of CapCut's interface. I'll start by dropping a video of my avatar into the timeline. One cool thing about CapCut is that it automatically sets the aspect ratio based on your first clip, which is super convenient. But don't worry, you can always manually adjust the aspect ratio to fit your desired screen size. For YouTube videos, we'll stick with the 16:9 aspect ratio, while for Shorts and TikTok-style videos, the 9:16 ratio is perfect. Now we can easily resize the footage accordingly. There's also a handy icon to enlarge the player, which comes in really useful. Alternatively, we can pinch the trackpad to zoom in or out. On the right sidebar, we can scale any selected video or image to any preferred size. And here's a pro tip. To use keyframes to create a smooth zoom effect, just click the diamond icon at the point where you want the image to start increasing in size, then move forward to where you want it to be the largest. Now you can easily increase or decrease the size of your video, and CapCut will automatically add the keyframes for you. Watch as our video starts to scale up at the first keyframe and maxes out at the second. To make this transition even smoother, right-click the clip and select Show Keyframe Animation. Then select each keyframe and change the joint into a curve. Let's do the same for the other keyframe and see how it looks. Now check out that zoom effect. Much smoother, right? Just remember, if you move the keyframes after adding the curves, you might need to tweak them a bit to keep everything looking seamless. No worries though. Just go back and use the handles to adjust the curves. As you can see, our zoom animation is working perfectly now. Once we're done, we can hide the keyframe animation. And we can also remove the zoom effect simply by selecting the keyframe and hitting the delete key. Easy peasy. Now let's dive into CapCut's Remove Background feature. This tool is pretty powerful, sometimes a little too powerful. As you can see from this example, it completely removed everything including the laptop, leaving only the person. In case you're working with a green screen or a colored background, I recommend using the chroma key instead. The auto removal tool might not give you the best results in those cases. Let's use the color picker tool to select the color we want to remove and adjust the intensity. See how easy that was? Now we can overlay this on top of another video seamlessly, whereas before, the green screen was blocking the background. If a video is too slow, we can quickly change the speed from the right sidebar, or simply place the cursor at the top corner of the clip where the small shape appears and use it to speed up or slow down the video. Simple and efficient. As you can see, the speed indicator at the right sidebar also moves as we drag the clip. Now, let's dive into the audio. This clip already has an audio track, so we can select it and head over to the audio settings. Here, we can increase or decrease the volume to our liking. Watch as the audio bars move up or down with each adjustment. Plus, we have the option to extract the audio from the clip and modify it separately. This gives us even more control over our sound. One thing to keep in mind is that the golden tips at the top of the audio waves indicate that the sound is a bit too loud at those points. I'll delete this and show you a cool trick. If needed, we can always recover the audio we extracted from the clip like this. Now, let's move on to animations. CapCut offers a variety of options. In animations, out animations, and combo animations that include both. There's a whole bunch of animations to choose from, and the best part is that we can adjust the duration to fit our needs perfectly. Take this half-second slide-up animation, for example. We can extend it to 4 seconds or even longer, just like this. The same goes for out animations. As you can see, CapCut displays both the in animations and the selected out animations duration. We can tweak the out animation and watch as the arrow on the clip changes to reflect the new duration. This visual cue is super helpful in pinpointing exactly where these animations should occur, making our editing process smoother and more precise. Now let's check out the combo animations. These animations are incredibly flexible, allowing us to apply them at the beginning, middle, end, or even throughout the entire video. The line at the bottom of the clip shows exactly where the animation is taking place. Always make sure to play back and see how it looks because some animations might not work well in the middle of a clip. And the best part? All of this is completely free in CapCut, so feel free to experiment and get creative with your edits. The last tool on the right sidebar is the adjustment panel. Unfortunately, I typically refrain from using those since I prefer the use of filters. Now let's dive into some of the free stock materials available in CapCut. We can grab any of these and use them as a background. Great for when we need a cool backdrop to showcase a list or highlight something special. CapCut also offers a library of royalty-free music that we can use as background tracks. Plus, there's an impressive collection of sound effects. Just search for the effect we want and select from the available options. Adding text is a breeze too, as we can choose our preferred color and font, or pick from a range of presets and effects. We can even animate the text to make it more dynamic. And we can't forget the stickers. CapCut provides a wide variety of stickers perfect for illustrations and adding a bit of fun to videos. There are so many to choose from, so make sure to click the star button next to your favorites for easy access. Now, let's check out one of my favorite features, effects. The free version of CapCut includes some pretty cool effects that we can simply drag and drop onto our timeline. Experimenting with these can really elevate the video's look and feel. As you can see, the effect applies to everything beneath it. But if you want to apply the effect only to a specific clip, like my avatar, you can drop the effect directly onto that clip. Notice how the effect doesn't impact the clips below or above my avatar. Plus, there are plenty of settings for each effect that you can customize to your liking. In case we click off a clip and need to edit the effect later, we just need to right-click that clip and select Effect. The settings will reappear, and we can tweak them as needed. Keep in mind that you can add multiple effects to your clip or project, but be cautious. Too many effects can make your video hard to watch. Now let's explore transitions. There are plenty to choose from, so let's go ahead and drop one between our clips like this. We can also adjust the duration, making transitions longer or shorter based on preference. Next, let's generate captions for our video. When I first started using CapCut, I manually created captions for my first few videos, which was time-consuming. But now, we can simply generate our captions and then customize them. Add a preset, stroke, or background effect to our captions and even change the color. To make the text stand out, we can add a shadow and adjust these settings for better visibility. We can also choose an effect from the list and add our preferred animation style to the caption. Or simply select one of these cool templates and use the handles to resize our captions. Next, let's explore the available filters. This is all about personal preference and the look we want for our video, so we can drop a filter onto our timeline and extend it to fit the length of our video. As you can see from here, clicking a filter provides a preview of how it looks on our clip before applying it. The last thing here is adjustment, but I prefer simply using the filters. Now that we've covered the basics of CapCut, let's edit a real video. For this demonstration, we'll be using one of my earlier videos in addition to a quick recording of the ChatGPT 4.0 announcement page I just made. Since I already have the audio files from that video, I'll import them along with my avatar and the screen recording into CapCut. First, we'll add the avatar to the timeline. As you can see, the project has automatically taken the avatar's 16:9 aspect ratio, so there's no need to change that. Then, we'll trim the video since the character lowers its head quite a bit at the beginning. Next, we need to delete the existing voiceover for the avatar. Now, let's add some effects to our character. The spark effect is one of my favorites, so I'll add it to the clip. Usually, I just use that and darken the background a bit with a filter. But for this demonstration, we'll add another effect, the scanning effect, which I've used a few times in my videos. We'll also play around with the settings to decrease the intensity. Next, let's apply a filter to our clip. We can select the clip and adjust the filter's intensity or delete it entirely. The same goes for the effects. Now, let's preview our video. It's looking pretty good. We can make any necessary adjustments to get the desired result. The next step is to add our voiceover. We'll increase the volume since the voice for this character is quite low and play it a few times to ensure the volume is just right without being too loud. Now let's listen to the audio to identify the best place to add some stock videos. But before we look for our stock videos, we'll crop the avatar clip at this point and add our main footage, which is the screen recording. Scale it to fit the frame and trim any unnecessary parts at the beginning. Now we can add a transition between these two clips and play the video. If we want the avatar's face to show at a specific point in the narration, we simply need to copy the clip and paste it there. As you can see, it's now covering up the screen recording, so we need to trim it. There are two ways we can do this. The first option is to select the clip and hit the trim icon. Then, use the handles to select the desired shape and hit confirm once we're satisfied with the result. We can further decrease the size and drag it to the desired spot. As you can see, this doesn't look bad, and all the effects are still present. Now, let's try the second option. The second approach is to add a rectangular mask to the clip and use the handles to select the preferred section. One thing to note is that dragging the selected section moves the mask, not the footage itself. To move the footage, click away from the mask or simply select Basic. Now we can drag the clip without affecting the mask. If we want to adjust the mask again, we simply need to select Mask and move it around as needed. The biggest advantage of using a mask is that we can round the corners like this, which looks pretty cool. Now that the resizing is complete, we can go ahead and add some animations. While we can use a combo animation, I typically prefer using in and out animations. This looks great, so let's move forward with the rest of our editing. But before that, I realized that we neglected to add an animation to our avatar at the beginning. So, let's select one of these combo effects. This zoom effect looks pretty cool, so let's go with that. Now, let's play back our voiceover and see what needs to be done next.
Free for users. This model...
I think we can add a stock video for this section where it says free for users. But before that, let's split the clip here to make room for our stock footage. For stock videos, we can head over to Pixabay or Pexels and search for any keyword. In this case, we want something related to free. Make use of either of these two platforms as they have a wide range of free stock footage for content creators. This one looks alright, so let's go ahead and download it. Just a quick tip, some of these videos are in portrait aspect ratio and might not be ideal for landscape videos. Since our video has a landscape aspect ratio, we'll select this one and proceed with the download. Let's not forget to like the video before we return to CapCut. Now we can drag the stock video and drop it between the two clips. Let's resize it to fit the canvas and add a transition. If the stock video is a bit slow, we can increase the speed here and trim it to the desired length. Let's also add a transition between the clips to ensure smooth continuity. We want to highlight something here, so we'll freeze the frame and resize it to the duration we want it frozen. Next, we'll grab a sticker, drop it above the frame, and adjust the duration. This looks good, so let's move on. Instead of highlighting, we might want to use the zoom effect in some cases. We can achieve this with animations or keyframes. Let's try animations first. Select the frame or video, go to Animations, Choose Zoom In under Out animation and adjust the duration as needed. As you can see, this gets the job done nicely. Unfortunately, we have limited control over the size of the zoom when using animations, which is where keyframes come in handy. We can add a keyframe exactly where we want the zoom effect to begin, move to the point where we want the zoom effect to end, and then scale our video to the desired size. If you don't like the current position, you can easily move the keyframes to different points on the clip. Let's also smooth out the animation a bit using these curves. Now our zoom effect looks smooth. Let's listen to our progress so far and continue with our editing.
The new GPT-4o is able to create astounding images.
We can add a stock video here to represent outstanding images. Let's head over to Pexels or Pixabay and search for an image or video collage. Since I've already downloaded one, I'll simply import it into CapCut and place it here. We'll scale the video to fit our canvas and add a transition. If necessary, we can also copy our avatar, paste it, and resize it to our desired duration. This doesn't look too bad. We can repeat this process where necessary throughout the rest of the video. Another important element we need to add is our background music. I recommend grabbing a track from YouTube's audio library to avoid any copyright issues. I'll be adding a list of my favorite tracks from this library to the channel resource category of my Discord server. You can find the link in the description of this video and also on my channel page. Before we add our background music, let's generate our captions. Depending on your personal preference, you can select one of these templates or add animations to your captions. If you want a single word effect like the one I'm using, you can select this bounce out animation. We can also enhance our captions with various effects and change the font. As you can see, the caption isn't too visible on some of these backgrounds, so we can add a shadow effect to improve visibility. For sections where the subtitle could disrupt the view, we can simply delete those captions. Now let's add our background music and adjust the volume. We want the volume to be a bit louder at the beginning, then decrease considerably when we dive into the main topic. To achieve this, we'll add a keyframe at the point where we want the volume to start lowering, move forward a bit, and reduce it to our preferred level. At the end of our demonstration, we'll add another keyframe, move forward, and then increase the volume slightly. Now let's check out our full video.
ChatGPT has released their newest and most advanced model, which they call GPT-4o, and it's free for users. This model gives free users access to some great features, which were only available to Plus and Team subscribers. Just like GPT-4, the new GPT-4o is able to create astounding images, which got me excited about the possibility of this feature becoming available to free users.
This looks pretty cool, but you can achieve even better results with a bit more time spent on editing. I hope this short demonstration was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, and see you in the next one. These big channels have set the bar for video editing so high in some niches that honestly, viewers now expect every video to look like a mini masterpiece. And let's face it, if a video doesn't at least come close, people just tune out. But here's the thing, not all of us have the skills or resources to edit at that level. I know I don't. Most of us don't have the budget to hire those top-tier editors either. I mean, we're talking price tags that can range from a few hundred to thousands of dollars per video. And the time? Editing can take 2 to 3 weeks even for pros. That's a big ask if you're working solo or just starting out. But here's the good news. That doesn't mean we're doomed to creating videos that look like amateur hour next to these YouTube editing gurus. We can pick up some simple tricks to create impressive videos without breaking the bank, and Adobe Premiere Pro is perfect for that. While the pros often pair Premiere Pro with After Effects to create their masterpieces, we're keeping it simple and sticking with Premiere Pro. You can still create videos that are considerably better than the one you're watching right now. Oh, and if you're a CapCut fan, don't worry, I've got you covered with a separate video all about editing with CapCut. Now let's get started. If you're new to Premiere Pro, don't stress, you simply need to repeat this process to create your new project. Once you've got your project set up, the next step is creating your main sequence. It's super simple, just right-click inside the project window and select New Sequence from the options. You'll see a bunch of presets, and while you can totally use one of those, I personally like creating a custom preset that works for any new projects. Trust me, it saves so much time down the line. Here's how to do it. Go to Settings, then pick either 30 or 60 frames per second, whichever works best for your style. After that, specify your video dimensions. Leave everything else as is, unless you're feeling extra confident in your computer's graphics card. In that case, you can turn on bit depth and render quality for video preview. But honestly, I usually leave those unchecked. Once you're done, save your settings as a preset so you can use it again for future videos. Oh, and don't forget to rename your sequence. It's a small thing, but it'll help keep your project super organized. Now, if you ever feel like something's missing, maybe a window or panel you can't find, just head over to the window menu and select what you need. It's all there, and it's a lifesaver if something accidentally closes on you. Alright, let's dive into the first thing I want to show you. Creating a cool background for your animations. I'm going to show you how to create a slick grid background, and it's easier than you might think. First, create a color mat in your preferred color. Pick something that complements your overall vibe and rename it so you don't lose track. Drag and drop it into your project timeline and extend the duration as much as you need. Then make sure your background layer is selected. Head over to Effects, search for Grid, and drop it onto the layer or into the Effects control panel. Increase the width of the grid until it looks just right to you, and then drop the opacity to around 50%. Now, head back to the Effects panel, search for Ramp, and add it to the same layer. You can choose any start and end colors that fit your style. This is where you can really get creative. Next, add a noise effect to give the background some texture. Play around with the noise amount, and if you're into a more colorful look, you can check the color noise option. Then, add the turbulent displace effect. Set the amount to 20 and the size to 50. To animate it, start at the beginning of the layer. Set keyframes for the evolution in the turbulent displace effect as well as the grid's anchor effect. Now move to the end of the layer, decrease the horizontal value, and bump up the evolution to your liking. Check out the result. You've got yourself a pretty cool animated background. I like to go one step further and add a vignette to the background. To do that, grab the circle effect, drop it onto the layer, and set the blending mode to Stencil Alpha. Then, increase the radius and feather the edges until you get that smooth, subtle fade around the corners. With the background done, it's a good idea to organize your project a bit. I'd recommend creating a few folders for your files. Totally optional, but trust me, it makes life easier when you're working with a bunch of assets. Now let's move on to some simple text animations. Grab the Type tool and click or drag where you want your text to appear. Type in your word or phrase, and then expand the options to format it. You can tweak the font type, size, and even alignment, whatever works best for your style. If part of your text isn't showing, just select it and use the handles to expand the text box. Once you've resized the box, you can reposition the text exactly where you want it. You can also add some style, like a shadow, background, or stroke, and tweak the text color to match your vibe. Now let's animate the text to make it slide in from the left. Start by setting a keyframe here, then move to the beginning of the layer and drag the text to the left until it's completely off screen. To make it feel a little more dynamic, you can smooth out the animation. Check this out. It looks smoother now, but if you want to refine it even more, undo the previous steps and use the transform effect instead. Add position keyframes and adjust them to your liking. Here's a pro tip. Set up keyboard shortcuts for ease in and ease out because you'll be using those all the time. Personally, I assign the 8 and 9 keys for these shortcuts. It's super easy. Just search for the function, drag it to your preferred key, and you're good to go. Once your shortcuts are set, select the keyframes and hit 8 and 9 for ease in and ease out. To make the animation extra smooth, click on the keyframe and adjust the curve in the graph editor. Pull this line over here, then move the first one up slightly like this. Check it out. The animation now starts quickly and then slows down smoothly. Now if you want the text to move to a different position, just set a keyframe at the current point. Drag the playhead to where you want the text to shift and change its position. Use those shortcut keys to shape the curve and tweak the joints until you're happy with how it looks. You can create something super cool, like having the text start slow, speed up, and then ease into a smooth stop. It's all about playing around until it feels just right. All of this really comes down to personal preference, so take your time experimenting with the curves until you get something you're happy with. Now, if you want to create another text layer, you can easily duplicate your existing one. Just hold down the Option key on a Mac or Alt on Windows and drag the layer to duplicate it. Once you've got your duplicate, select it, double-click to edit the text and make any changes you like, whether it's the color, font, or size. Don't forget to set keyframes for the position and smooth them out just like before. Here's the thing though, if the original text is still visible behind the new one, it can make the new text harder to read. To fix this, I like to darken and blur the text in the background. There are plenty of ways to do this, but my go-to is creating a nested sequence for the layer. After nesting, add this effect to the new sequence and set keyframes for the exposure to make it slightly darker. Then, add a blur effect and set keyframes for the blurriness. As you can see, the lower text becomes darker and blurry as the new one comes in, making it easier to see. Another trick for text animations? Motion graphic templates. These are a lifesaver. You can find tons of them online, both free and paid. Just drag and drop them into your timeline, and boom, you've got a professional-looking animation in seconds. You can customize them by changing the text, font, and colors right there in the template. Using these templates speeds up your workflow so much. Feel free to download as many of these as you need for your projects. You can also save time with effects like these. Just drop them on your layer and move the keyframes to the duration you prefer. Simple as that, and you have a nice smooth animation without going through the process of animating it yourself. Another must-have tool for your workflow is Premiere Composer. You can grab this free plugin directly from their website. Once you've got it installed, you can enable the window from here. I personally prefer placing it right after effects controls like this. Premiere Composer is super handy because it comes packed with useful presets. All you have to do is drag a preset onto your timeline, and then you can tweak everything from the text and font to its position and more. If you decide a different preset works better, just hit the Replace button, and it swaps out seamlessly. You can also adjust the preset duration and entry animation speed right here. To add a little flair, you can add a drop shadow effect, pick your favorite color, and experiment with the settings to create a glowing effect. Now let's bring in an image. You can grab images from this website. For the best results, search for PNG files. If you don't find what you need, switch to vector files instead. When using vector files, you might need to remove background colors and convert them into PNG files. For that, drop the vector file into Photo-P, turn off the background layer, and then download the image as a PNG. Once your files are ready, import them into Premiere Pro and add them to your project timeline. To animate the image, add a transform effect and set keyframes for both position and scale. At the beginning of the animation, slightly decrease the scale and move the character off screen. It already looks decent, but you can take it to the next level by smoothing out the animation. Use your shortcut keys for ease in and ease out, and then bump up the shutter angle to add some nice motion blur. For an even smoother animation, expand the graph editor. Grab the points and adjust them for a more polished entry animation. Now to move the character around, first you'll need to set your keyframes. Move forward a bit in the timeline and adjust the character's position to where you want them to go. If the graph looks awkward, smooth it out for a cleaner motion. Once the animation looks good, you can add a text layer, format it properly, and then create a nested sequence. Now you can use the transform effect to animate the text. For example, have the text slide in from behind the character as they move to the left. Don't forget to add some motion blur to make the animation feel smoother and more natural. Next, bring in the crop effect to refine the reveal. Head to the first keyframe, select the crop effect, and set a keyframe for the left position. Then drag the handle from the left until the text is completely hidden. Move forward a frame at a time, dragging the handle gradually to make the text appear in sync with your animation. Here's an extra touch to make it pop. You've probably noticed that in a lot of videos, characters tend to have a subtle movement on the screen. You can easily recreate this effect by downloading a camera shake preset. One popular option is the Essential Motion Preset Pack. It includes a free camera shake effect, and you can explore their other packages if you're interested. To install it, go to the Effects panel, right-click on Presets, and select Import Preset. Once it's loaded, expand the Essential Motion folder in your presets, and you'll see a variety of options. For the camera shake effect, just drag and drop the camera wiggle preset onto your image. Check out the result. Your animation now has a subtle, dynamic shake that really adds a professional touch. Now let me show you how to create a simple shape animation. Remember, video editing is really just combining a bunch of these tricks. Once you know how to make them, it's all about using your imagination to create something unique. Start by choosing your preferred shape, like a circle, from the Shape tool. Go to the workspace, click and drag to draw it. You can change the color here to match your style, then add the transform effect. We'll have the circle move from left to right, so set your keyframes for the position and add some motion blur for smoothness. Once the motion looks good, smooth out the keyframes to refine it further. With the circle layer still selected, grab the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle over the circle. Here's the fun part. The circle will transform into a square by the time it reaches the end of the animation. To do this, set the square's opacity to 0 at the start of the transition. Add a keyframe at the point where the transition begins. Then go forward to where you want the square to be fully visible and set the opacity to 100. Repeat the process for the circle, but in reverse. Start with its opacity at 100 and drop it to 0 at the same transition point. Smooth out these keyframes, and you've got a nice, seamless shape morphing animation. Now let's take it up a notch by adding a text reveal. Create your text layer and use the mask tool to hide the text initially. Set a keyframe for the path, then slowly reveal the text frame by frame as you move forward. It already looks good, but let's add one final touch. Animate the square shape over the text again to transition it to a different color. Simply split the text layer at the point you want the color to change, and then select the second part to change its color to whatever you prefer. To tie it all together, drop this transition between the two clips and animate the shape moving back to the left. And just like that, here's your result. Now let's move on to working with an actual video. You can create an entrance animation by using the transform effect. Add some flair by incorporating a smooth zoom in and zoom out effect. A cool addition to this is the basic 3D effect. Just play around with the settings, and if you want to take it further, add keyframes to animate those settings for dynamic results. Next, let's highlight something in your video. There are a few ways to do this. The simplest is to draw a rectangle over the area you want to emphasize, pick a color, and adjust the blending mode to something like this. Then add the crop effect and animate it from the left to create a smooth highlight animation. Another way is to duplicate the layer and add a crop effect to focus on the area you want to highlight. Apply lumetri color and Gaussian blur to the bottom layer, making the highlighted section on the top layer stand out. For extra impact, add a transform effect to animate the top layer, giving it a little pop. You can even nest these layers together and throw in a basic 3D effect for something more creative. Don't forget to include sound effects. They really make a huge difference and can elevate even the simplest animations. You can find free sound effects on websites like Pixabay, or if you want to keep things simple, you can download the exact sound effects I use for free from my Discord server. The link is in the description and also on my channel page. The last approach to highlighting content is to grab one of these shapes from Premiere Composer, position it appropriately, and make any necessary changes. You can even add a drop shadow to give it some glow. Finally, let's talk about captions. Go to the Window menu and look for text. From there, select Transcribe Sequence and pick the audio tracks you used. If you're unsure, leaving it at Mix works fine. Once the transcription is done, generate captions, adjust the maximum character length and the number of lines to your preference, and you're good to go. When your captions are ready, select them all and edit as needed. After that, it's time to export your project. Go to File, then Export Media. Choose your preferred file format, expand the video settings, and click Match Source. Don't forget to tick these two settings and then proceed to export.